just north of London. In this perfect village, where you grew up, some serious shit is about to go down.
Three cinephiles have come together to bring you strong opinions, controversial statements, epic battles, and plenty of fun. Introducing our host, the man who watches 52 movies a week, drinks 52 beers a movie, loves women but hates the woman. From the foreign land of Canada, our host, Moodz 616. He is widely known as the man who talks too much. His worst enemies are Postmaster P and Pee Wee Herman. He said Hellraiser was overrated and Leprechaun Origins wouldn't suck. He's the full-blooded half-Mexican, JP. Finally, we have the man who doesn't talk enough. He is best friends with Shaun S. Cunningham. His favorite horror movie is Gummo. He is your favorite Jew and mine, Jeremy. Together they are known for extending a helping hand to vampircons everywhere. They are the 22 shots of Moodz and horror.
Yes, y'all, it's going down right now. Episode 134 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast is coming at you live. I am your host, Moodz Barker, and the price is $22, bitches. Yeah. And of course, I always got my two shorty shit stains by my side. First up, we have the half-blooded Mexican who proves he's not full-blooded by eating Taco Bell at least once a week. Double Shot J, aka JP. Last up, we have the little boy who blows his shitter out from eating 4 bowls of matzo soup a day topped with bacon bits. Mr. Fuck You, the Jew himself, Jeremy. What's up, homies?
I have some breaking news, guys. This is a brand new memo that's coming from Shankerville, signed by Mayor Schenkel and the Lieutenant Governor, John True Full Screen, Paul Rodriguez, with 2 new inductees into the Hall of Fuckers. First off, we have Chris Rasdell, who wrote on the Facebook page, "Hey JP and Moodz, have you considered doing Cherry Falls or my Wishmaster or Puppet Master suggestions? LOL." Well, I just want to say, Chris Rasdell, fuck you for not including me in that conversation. I really appreciate it. You could go suck your mother's tits. And now, an hour ago, we have Jay Murph from the Facebook page as well, who also says, "I'm not cool because I quit YouTube." Well, fuck you, Jay Murph. You should join the Cool Kids Club. That's it. Signed official, April 15, 2018, by Mayor Schenkel and Lieutenant Deputy Governor John True Full Screen Paul Rodriguez.
I swear to God that I'd actually even responded to that dude's comment. I think he left the same comment on a video that I responded to, and then he posted it in the group page, so I don't know why. Unless it's a different person with the same question. Maybe needed the answer twice, but I did mention something about Puppet Master franchise, and I was like, yo, for sure, it's coming. The problem is with the Puppet Master franchise, every time it crosses our mind, they put out another film. So, but yeah, man, those franchises are coming eventually.
Everybody stop at franchises.
I know, people, I know.
Done enough?
It's honestly one of the most common questions that we get, via Facebook page or the YouTube. People love franchises.
It's because of last year's Year of the Franchise.
It was. Yeah, we did cover some of the bigger ones, but yeah, man.
There's so many still to get to. We'll get to them eventually. Unless one of us dies or we retire, they're coming. And I don't think we will ever fully quit the show until we at least do Friday the 13th and Elm Street. So those ones will definitely be done before we wrap the show, if it would ever happen.
We should do those ones sooner than later because we know that there's not going to be any more entries into those franchises.
But we all know what our last episode's going to be, so we don't have to plan for that at least.
Witchcraft show.
It's the Witchcraft show coming to the final episode.
Oh,
of
Lordy.
Podcast.
Mm-hmm. But I think that the franchise thing, we always get requests. And, that's why one of the reasons we created the Patreon page, which in terms of housekeeping, I think we do need to discuss some Patreon-related topics.
We got some business. We got some business.
Yeah.
You hear me, man? We got some business. I don't know. I'm in a weird mood tonight.
So Moodz, what are we doing with the Patreon page for the summer?
Essentially, we've come to the realization that the Patreon is kind of a success. Now,
maybe too much of a success.
Maybe too much of a success. And the problem is with the summertime with us is that we are not available as much as we are during the other months of the year. Look at our history. Yes, we
every summer since the beginning, we've either took off or limited the shows to about 2 a month on sometimes less, but about
one summer we did 1 a month. I think we did the Jaws show.
Yeah,
I think that was the only show we did that summer.
Madman was the other one.
So if you have been following the show since the birth of it, you know that the summer months are very quiet around the 22 Shots recordings. So with that said, we have decided that we are going to have to, kind of downgrade the Patreon from what we can accept, essentially, because we just won't have the time to do essentially the request, right?
Yes, absolutely. So right now we have a lot of people who are under the $6 tier and the $15 tier, which is providing us films to watch and review. We love doing it. It's a lot of fun, but there is a time constraint that we have to abide by in the summer. So we kicked it around, thought about what we should do. We don't really want to make it like this thing where only a couple people could do it. So we decided that we're just going to take it down for the summer altogether. Now, anybody who is currently tiered on those tiers, you have until May 1st to switch to another tier or
just support the show.
Cancel altogether, or like Jeremy said, support the show. But what we're telling you guys is that we're not accepting any reviews coming up.
Yes.
Doesn't mean you can't still support the show to get the sand sucked out of my vagina. That's always up on the table.
And, the reason it might be just like last year, the year before, where we did one show a summer or one show a month during the summer months. So, yeah, we just can't allow ourselves to be pigeonholed back into a corner with, too many requests and stuff. So
yeah, which when we designed this, we knew about it ahead of time. Like we knew we were going to have to lower it in the summer. We actually planned to a little bit earlier, but we ended up just sticking it out for a little bit longer. And if you guys do want to switch tiers, we appreciate the support. If you don't mind staying and you're just donating for the cause of the show still, that's fine too, but we just gotta come and let you guys know that we won't be accepting any review submissions
till September.
That's probably about right.
Or
we
October.
Usually come back in September, so it's a couple of months. It's not a ton of time, but we are 100% bringing it back. We love doing it. It's a lot of fun.
I don't.
But well, Jeremy does and he doesn't. He just overthinks things.
No. When I get stuck having to watch films like DickShark, it's like, give me a fucking break.
Dude, listen. Me and Moodz have had this conversation with this guy
throw me a bone, man. It's one
many
thing.
times.
It's one thing about doing bad movies, but DickShark, really? Come on.
Okay, but here's the thing, dude.
Oh, man.
Here's the thing. Go ahead, Moodz. Tell him what the thing is.
What is the thing?
The thing is that he sits there and he gloats about it, and he sits there and puts people in the Hall of Fuckers, and he's basically challenging them to give him bad movies. What happened when this started?
Like I can understand watching the bad movies, Summer Massacre, and the violent shits and everything else. But come on, why do you have to give me fucking a 3-hour long movie called DickShark that has nothing but a plastic fucking shark dick and Bill Zebub touching girls' muffs for 3 hours? It's like, cut me a fucking break, please.
Well, I mean, it is highly possible the person that gave you that didn't know anything about it other than, hey, this movie's called DickShark. I didn't know it was 4 hours long. Or
was it actually 3 hours long?
Yes, it's 3 hours.
Oh my god! For the longest time, I actually thought that was the running time was wrong on IMDb. I thought that was including the features or something, man.
No, that's how long it is.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean,
that's funny.
I totally feel you. Like, those movies sound awful. I wouldn't want to do them, but I know that if I review stuff and it gets a reaction out of people and I seem mad about it, they're just going to keep feeding it to me because it's entertaining to them.
That's the thing, man. The more vocal you be about almost being offended by the shittiness that comes your way, they're just gonna keep tossing it at you, man.
It's funny. Like, you listen to it people listen to it and they find it funny. That's their entertainment. So of course they're going to try to keep getting you to do it.
Well, at least this summer will be a summer free of shitty movies. At least I'll have 3 months of a break, so when we come back in September, I'll be all geared up to watch the next fucking 13 shirtless boy film by me.
I would have no problem with banning Beelzebub films. From
See, I was just going to say, the problem is here, now that you've put this out about Beelzebub, in the next 4 months, Beelzebub is probably going to direct 17 new films. And so come September time,
I don't think you could give him an actual credit of directing.
I'll just have people be mad at me because I'm not going to fucking watch another 3 hour fucking...
You can give him a credit for directing. You can't give him a credit for editing. That motherfucker does not edit his movies, man.
That's why he has a plastic DickShark movie that's 3 hours fucking long.
Exactly. All of his movies are way too long. Like, the guy just shoots... Whatever he shoots, he puts into his films. He's not an editor, man.
I've watched, I think, 2, and it's... I don't wish it on my worst enemy. Like, I hate those movies, but...
Well, we'll get into it later on.
That's the Patreon changes. Please, if you're listening now and you don't want to be charged for the tier that you're currently on, I'm talking to people like Mikey. I'm talking to a couple of other people who have stuff worked out with us where they're saving something and stuff like that. But these will not build up either. Like, you're not going to get like 8 picks by, what later, because we just can't. That would just be too much for us to handle. So please change your tier or be okay with donating and receiving no reviews in return. We'll still give you guys all the other stuff like the contests and things like that as we go along. But just know that you won't be getting any reviews for the next probably 3 or so months if you're on that tier. If everybody unsubs from it, I can remove the tier altogether. But as long as people are still on it, I don't think that I can remove it. So please, this is your warning. I don't want anybody messaging us and being like, hey, I didn't get my, tiers, my reviews. So what's up with that?
We do understand that a lot of the supporters are in the Facebook page, so we will post in there also. So now there's no excuses. There really isn't. Yeah. The show's out there. We'll repost this in the group, and we're out.
And everybody who hasn't paid up in the Facebook football pool, you could go suck a giant camel cock.
Camel cock. Nice.
That's a double C.
But yeah, that's the Patreon update. So I hope you guys understand. I think we're pretty clear about it. It'll be back, just taking a little hiatus as we take a hiatus ourselves during the summer months, as we always do. We'll still crank out a few shows here and there. Next week we have not next week, sorry. The week after that we have our big glorious
we're doing a
1976
right?
show. What's that? Next week will be A Quiet Place, and the week after that will in fact be our 1976 show, which everybody's pumped for. It should be fun.
Man, I swear to the Lord, man, Brandon is obsessed with asking what number we're at.
Yeah, because he wants to beat everybody by a lot.
Oh, I think he's going to win.
Cheese because it's like, or an onion or whatever the fuck JP wants me to eat, because I'm not gonna.
Well, I'm up to you have 2 weeks here of no reviews needing done, so I think that you should have time. What's that?
I'm up to 17. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm at like 21 or something like that. I'm having a terrible time with 1976.
The movies suck cock.
I don't know what the hell you guys are watching, man. Do you guys check out the Pete Rocker films?
76 sucks, dude.
Well,
I'm done with it.
Only 17, though, man. Like, you can't feel confident making a top 10 list at that point.
No, even definitely not. I'll be at 30 or 40 for sure. I guarantee I will. But I'm just saying that I'm having an awful time with the first. First of all, let me just say, we completely slacked, me and Jeremy, during this time. We had a full year to watch these movies. And he has 17, I have like 20-something. But like most of the time, I kind of wait towards closer to. I'll pepper in a few here and there. I try to really focus on films I never heard of first, and then I go into ones that I've heard of but probably won't make the list, and then I go into heavy hitters towards the end, maybe some rewatches, stuff like that. But this time, doing the unknowns has been a drag. Stop doing that recently. I'm only focusing on the heavy hitters now.
Well, that's what I was
I'm having no fun with these unknowns.
That's what I was going to say to you, man, because, you asked for a list of, ones that you probably should, and I kind of made a list of the ones that you probably should check out,
Yeah, and, which I will get to those ones for sure.
And it was funny because I think it was the next day you were watching some, random unknown film, and I was like, there you go. This is why you hate 76
Black
right
Cobra
there.
Woman. by Mr. Jess Franco.
There you go. Yeah,
I watched Snuff,
that
so that shouldn't say much.
Yeah.
Which
That was
one?
the worst one I've seen so far.
Which one?
I think
Snuff.
Oh, Snuff. Oh, yeah, Snuff is horrible.
I don't know exactly how we're picking our next year, but I would be fine with removing 70s films so we don't get a back-to-back 70s.
Well, we won't, though. Like, the 70s will be removed, because didn't we already say...
We're still doing that? I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, at this point, we're going to put everything back in. So it'll
Except
be...
for the 70s.
So it'll be 1969, all the 80s, 90s, 2000s, and up to 2000, what, 12?
12.
Yeah.
And then
so,
I throw a random year from the 30s, 40s, or 50s, or 60s in there as well. Just for fun factor, because if one of those 30s eventually do come up, there's like 15 movies to watch sometimes, so it'd be a quick episode.
Yeah, there's definitely a few years in those early years where there's not much at all. That would be fucked to get that, though. Really? Like the wild card one in there? Come on.
Yeah.
But
I'm personally hoping for a 90s or 2000s. Those are probably my favorite to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I see
what you're saying. Yeah, because
80s are just so much prep, because you look at the list of movies from the 80s. One, it's probably the most active time in horror history, except for maybe today's time.
Yeah,
and also, and that's simply because films have become easier to make versus in the 80s. And you look at the amount of films you have to watch for the 80s; it's usually more than something of the 90s or early 2000s.
Mm-hmm. 2000 would be interesting, like the mid 2000s.
Oh yeah, well, I think my favorite year doing this was 2002, like in terms of the fun I had preparing.
I don't really know.
Well, I think we know that. What was that guy's name on the show last week or a few weeks ago?
Andrew.
Oh yeah, I think he would have liked 2002 too. He seems to like those movies.
Mm-hmm, probably.
Well, it was still kind of floating heads at that time. So
yeah, there was a handful, but there was also just a lot of fun movies that I hadn't really seen. The first thing I do anytime we pull a new year is I look and I immediately check it, like look at the list and see what all I've seen. And I know that the 2000s I hadn't seen a ton. I hadn't seen a ton in all the years. 76 was a year where I hadn't seen. I think I had counted like 6 films that I had seen. So,
Jesus, that's crazy. But
yeah,
more than likely, we're probably going to end up getting, I would say, one of the 2000 years. That's my prediction.
Well, considering there is
a little bit more
9 in the first decade of the 2000s and then another 2, technically percentage-wise, you would assume that...
Yeah, we have a better chance of getting the 31. Or close.
Well, no, the best chance we have is 2000 to 2012. Like, if you count those together.
Okay.
I'm honestly happy with anything. I really don't give a shit.
I think you like... I personally, I love doing this, though, because it does make me kind of see fully what happened in a year. It's it's like you got to live through that year all of a sudden.
Yeah,
it's very interesting, and of course we still do our modern ones. Depending on what we get next time, if it's a year in the 90s, hopefully we can do 2 within the next calendar year instead of just the 1, because the last couple years we've only done 1 of these shows, and that saddens me a little bit.
Not me.
It'd be awful if we got like 98 or 99. I think 98 is really bad. like one of the years, I can't remember which one it is. I was looking at it.
It's 97, I think.
97, I can't remember. And I was like going through the list, and only just a few weeks ago, because I was actually trying to find a film. And so I was looking up the year, and I was like, wow, that's a really shitty year. So
yeah, 91 is pretty bad as well.
Nah, 91's got some good films in it, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, every year has had... There's not one year that doesn't have some good films in it. That, like, come on. We would have to... If there's a year that comes up where we can't even make a top 10, then there's seriously some problems there.
Yeah, I don't think that's even possible, unless we get one of those early...
98.
Yeah, no, that's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Is it 98? I don't know.
I can't remember. It was 97 or 98, one of the years I was looking at. But, I don't know.
I'm excited to draw the next year. That's my favorite part of that show.
Well, I know it's going to be your favorite part on this one, at least. I'm actually really curious to see everyone's top 10s. I'm not going to lie, man. I'm curious to see how they match up. I think, personally, they're going to be quite different, but... But
yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, let's get this shit going here, man. Let's move on. News. Let's get into some news.
We'll do it live. Okay. We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
All right, so not a ton of news this week. Before we get into the news, I just want to give a shout out real quick. We haven't done a shout out in a while. There's a podcast sort of show thing that I've been listening to lately, and I can't believe that we haven't mentioned it on the show. But it's Dave, Mr. Parka's show that he does. Have you guys checked that out at all?
It's weekly roundup.
Yeah, it's does it have a name? I know it's on screamingtoilet.com is where it's
weekly
hosted.
roundup, I thought he called it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Screaming
And his
Toilet.
YouTube channel.
Yeah, Screaming Toilet is the name of his production company, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So basically, if you guys like our What We Watch segment, it's essentially that.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of new releases for the most part, but there's some other stuff in there as well. But it's basically what he watches every week, and it's really cool. I like it a lot.
Yeah, man. It's essentially kind of like this show. It kind of mirrors the show a little bit. When he first started doing those weekly updates, and I had actually talked to Dave about it too. He got sick of doing like individual video reviews. He kind of wanted to do something else. He just felt like he was making too many videos all the time, so he decided to put them together, which is a good idea, right?
I do that too.
Yeah.
With the hell,
No, you just don't want to fucking... You're too lazy.
Dude, what do you... hey, pot,
hey, man.
kettle. Pot, kettle.
All right.
So anyways, when he first started doing those weekly updates, they were, roughly 25 to 35, 40 minutes, and then every week they just kind of started getting longer and longer. Like this show. We went from doing, 2-hour shows to 2.5, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think we've even had a 7-hour show. But yeah, no, if you look at it as the weeks went on, I don't know what week he's in, 48 now. If you go through the history, they just keep getting longer and longer. It's kind of funny.
And he throws in some like movie clips and trailers and things like that. So it's got higher production than just, sitting on YouTube in front of a camera. I really like the videos. It's cool to see what's come out. He touches, like Arrow releases and I think like Synapse, like all kind of stuff that has just been released. It's a really cool show. I was checking it out earlier today. I've listened to it before a few times, but I was trying to find something to listen to today while I was playing Xbox, and that came up, so I checked that out. And there's an audio version too for people who don't really like sitting in front of the computer and watching the video version. But I highly recommend it. Definitely check it out. It's really neat. And we'll try to remember to put the link in the description down below. And also, he posts it in the group page all the time, as well as he supports us on Patreon as well. So definitely check it out.
I'm surprised that he still throws the trailers into his videos, because he's had so many videos taken down and flagged for those fucking trailers over the years.
It's the sound.
I don't. Yeah, exactly. I don't even bother with that. It's just. I mean.
Yeah, I put them in my video, but I put them up in the corner, and without sound, and they never get flagged because they're. I don't know. I guess that crushes the algorithm that catches them.
You know. Speaking of YouTube, I actually had something strange happen to me the other day. So I was working and I got an email and it was from YouTube, and they had randomly reviewed one of my last top 10 Tuesday videos, my worst horror films in my collection. Now, see, I had it monetized, and now it's not available. It was available for a while, and then they manually reviewed it and said it wasn't suitable for everybody, or for, you know, their standards of ads and shit. I was like, why?
So wait, so the video got demonetized or not on YouTube anymore at all?
It just got demonetized. It's still on YouTube.
Yeah, okay, well that is it's an automatic system. So if you cuss, it'll pick it up. And it won't allow you to monetize the video.
Fuckity fuck. Well, I guess we're not monetizing this video.
But like I said, because when I first put the video up, I monetized it, and it was fine until, you know, it's been up for 3 weeks, and it's been monetized that entire time. And then just on Thursday, I think is when I got the email, and they said, you know, they had reviewed it and now it's not available. And I was like, that's fucking random.
No matter what, it automatically will allow you to monetize right away, usually.
But usually it doesn't take 3 weeks. It usually doesn't take 3 weeks.
Mine do.
Really?
Mine always take forever. Yeah. I mean, maybe it's because I get less view. I don't know how the system works completely.
There's like 1,800 views on that video.
If I put horror in the title, it demonetizes sometimes right away.
Yeah, I know. I've had a couple emails.
Because my top 5 Friday videos that I do that I've been slacking on lately, I put horror in the title of one of them, and it was demonetized instantly. I didn't cuss or anything in the video. It was so annoying.
It is totally true. It is 100% true, because like my Disposable Arts podcast, those ones are all monetized. And there's lots of swearing in those. So I don't... Yeah. It's just, it's not horror related.
Sometimes it matters the length too. You know what I mean? So it takes maybe they don't search through all the entire... I don't know how the whole system works.
Who picked...
It is weird though.
Topic of worst horror films in my collection. Who picked that idea?
That wasn't even... See, I explained in my video. I've had that requested probably at least 10 times.
Fuck all those people, because now this is just going to be a whole new slate of films that people could fucking give me to review on the show. So thanks, Moodz.
Never even thought of that, actually. Actually, a couple of them, I think you did. Summer of the Massacre, I think, or whatever. I actually had Summer of the Massacre and Summer of the Massacre, both of them on there. They're fucking horrible. Yeah. But no, I explained in the video, because I generally don't like to do top lists of bad things. I don't even like to talk about shitty things.
I don't really either.
But since it's been requested so many times over, I don't know, 3 years of doing top 10 videos. I didn't do one for like a year, but I just thought, I was like, whatever. It's been requested so many times, I'll do the video. It was actually kind of fun to do. But I was surprised that it got demonetized, because that's like one of the first ones. Like pretty much all of my top 10 Tuesday videos are monetized, and they still are, and which I'm surprised, considering I've had videos based on my thumbnails get demonetized. Also, the artwork that I used was not suitable for ads.
Yeah, it's very strange how all of it works now.
But Top 10 Tuesday thumbnail is probably the bloodiest one I use.
Really? That's on your list? Don't you have like a trillion movies, and Children of the Corn 6 is really one of the worst movies you have in your collection?
Yeah, it is.
I don't even think it would be one of my worst, honestly.
It is.
It's pretty honestly bad.
Yeah, it's pretty bad, but it's not like poorly made or anything.
Wait, was
like
Howling
that.
7 in there?
Yes. Yeah, a 0.5. Pretty much every film in my top 10 was like a 0.5 or a 1 that I'd rated.
That's awesome.
And those are also, and this is like the worst film plus my most hated ones too. Like every film in there I can't fucking stand. They're just horrible. Yeah. So, but anyways, I just thought I'd bring up the whole monetization, because I was very curious on, I don't really think anyone fully understands how this logically works.
Yeah.
Like I said, it's the bloodiest thumbnail that I use, and most of them are monetized, so I don't fucking get it. Fuck you, dude.
Yeah. All right, so into the news here. This is barely news, but it's such a slow week with news that I just thought I would throw it in there. Jason Blum from Blumhouse saw the new Halloween, and he saw a cut of it. Obviously, it's not, if it was completely ready, it wouldn't make much sense, but he said that he really liked it, obviously.
What the fuck is he gonna say? It's a piece of shit.
That's why I said obviously.
Yeah. Don't see it. It sucks.
Yeah. And he says, a lot of smart, like basic, like what you would expect him to say. He said he did everything I hoped he would do, which is respect the DNA of the franchise and bring something totally new. Very, very well. Very, very excited for people to see it. So the only reason I brought it up was the fact that, hey, this thing's being cut right now. Like, it's going to be ready for October. I would assume it will be out in October. A lot of people speculated if this would actually happen. I think the further we get along, I think it's pretty safe to say that it's happening.
I didn't even realize that they had filmed that much of it.
It's done. They wrapped filming like a month ago, I think.
Yeah. It's
Damn.
done like a month ago or something.
I mean, it's just so hard to believe everything, You just never know what the fuck's going on, but that's cool.
Speaking of...
But you can't take that shit seriously. Exactly what Jeremy said. What the fuck do you expect him to say? I mean, of course he's going to say it's fucking good.
Yeah, obviously. But
Whatever.
Another person who's saying something's good, and another thing that has wrapped is Bill Moseley was interviewed, and he said that Rob Zombie's 3 from Hell has wrapped filming. And Bill Moseley, I'll read the whole Facebook post here. Let me see how long. Okay, it's not that long. Exhausted but happy. Rob Zombie masterpiece. 3 from Hell. In the proverbial can. Which then he says, nowadays I guess it's a hard drive. Great time last night. Got all the shots we needed before we picture wrapped on the Velotzat movie ranch in dear old Santa Clarita. And now the trucks are packed and rolling. The actors all changed out of their wardrobe and makeup and off to new adventures. The sun's up and I'm heading down the highway. My spirit animals, the Doobie Brothers, filling my head and heart with enough rhythm and cheer to get me back home to Los Angeles. It'll probably hit me in a day or two that what we did, the enormity, the intensity. But meanwhile, I'm going to eat a lot, sleep a lot, brush them like crazy. One thing I can say, when the movie comes out, you guys, mindsies, are gonna be big time blown. Oh, your guys' mindsies are gonna be big time blown. Thanks for the thoughts and prayers. So, Bill Moseley says that it's a masterpiece. We don't really expect him to say anything less than that. I mean, he's not gonna come out like Jason Blum. He's not gonna come out and say it sucked. But what do you think of that?
But I mean, honestly, how many times do you wrap filming and one of the actors says it's a masterpiece?
Oh man, Silent Night, Deadly Night 3. That film is a masterpiece.
I don't know if I ever hear them necessarily say it's a masterpiece.
That's what I'm saying. I never hear that.
Good.
I never hear masterpiece. It's just
you're kind of right.
It's an interesting choice of words to use.
Yeah,
now,
it is.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, we have high hopes for it.
Are we going to do a trilogy show when it comes out?
I'm so glad that we held off on doing House of 1,000 and Devil's Rejects, because absolutely we're going to do a trilogy show now.
Oh, of course. I mean, that was a no-brainer.
Because that was a request for a long time to do the Rob Zombie Spotlight. Now we could do a Rejects trilogy as well as...
Firefly trilogy.
Yeah, the Firefly trilogy.
Yes.
Dude, that's going to be sick. I can't wait to do that. Hell yeah.
I can't wait to see
And then
this
we could even do another Spotlight with 31, Lords of Salem, and...
So this has potential to be out around the same time as the new Halloween film also, right? So
I don't know.
Is it going to get a theatrical, you think?
Well, I mean, I can see them not having a release date, but I mean, if they're done done wrapping right now, if they're, wrapped up filming, 6 months later, it should be out. That gives it about the same time, man. I mean, if it does come out in October, it's going to be that's some heavy hitters.
Rob Zombie's films typically take a lot longer to come out after they wrap shooting, but then again, all those films of recent haven't been an established series.
I think personally he's going to try and get this one out as obviously not rush the editing and the post-production process, but wouldn't you want to try and get it out for Halloween?
I mean,
it's a good. It's enough. It's enough
I would
time.
like it to be out by Halloween.
It's enough time, though, man. I mean, right now is the perfect time. 6 months. It's October. Yep. Mm-hmm. I think that's perfect, man. I mean, obviously the Halloween film's probably gonna be out around that time too. So, got some potential.
Go up heads to head.
We got some potential heavy hitters for that month, man.
I don't think you want to go head to head with Halloween. Maybe a couple weeks earlier.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I meant October. I referred to the whole month as Halloween. But, obviously Halloween would probably come out around the actual Halloween date. But pretty cool, man. I'm excited for this, man. I mean, those are some heavy hitting words, man.
Yeah, it also has a ton of actors in it that we know, a ton. So that will be decent. But next up here on the news cycle, we have John Krasinski, the director of A Quiet Place, former star of The Office. He says that his next film is going to be a sci-fi film called Life on Mars, which he will be re-teaming up with Paramount and Platinum Dunes, which I don't know about you guys, but when you seen A Quiet Place, did you know that it was produced by Platinum Dunes?
Yeah.
Or was you shocked when you seen the Platinum Dunes?
No,
film?
I knew that it was like one of their first non-franchise horror films. Yeah, it wasn't a reboot or anything.
Yeah.
I didn't know, so I was like, holy crap, Platinum Dunes did this?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't get the warm fuzzy feeling in my stomach like I did when I saw the fucking Twisted Pictures logo come up when I saw Jigsaw, but I guess it was pretty cool to see it.
Yeah, I'm not nostalgic necessarily for Platinum Dunes, but I just thought that it was interesting that they had a hand in creating an original piece. So basically, in this interview from the Hollywood Reporter, there's no writer on board yet. It is not. John Krasinski is not expected to star in it. He will be a producer and obviously the director. So that's something, and it's adapting a short story by Cecil Castellucci titled We Have Always Lived on Mars, that centers around a young woman who is among a handful of descendants of a Martian colony long abandoned by Earth following a cataclysm. The woman one day finds she can breathe the air on Mars, upending her world and that of her fellow colonists. Sounds cool to me. So
they have no writer yet?
No,
I guess when they hire that writer, they should probably work on the title too. Life on Mars sounds super generic, man.
Wasn't there a Life on Mars film that came out a few years ago? It has like a cover of a guy in a helmet.
I don't know.
It's something like
Magnet released it. I think that was the name of that movie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm excited to see him continue in his directing.
Oh, no, the Last Days on Mars.
Yeah, Last Days on Mars. That was actually a pretty good film. I thought it was pretty interesting.
So that's, I mean, I think that everybody who's seen A Quiet Place is excited to see what John Krasinski can do next. I've been a big fan of him on The Office. I thought he was great, and it was very interesting seeing him do something different. And of course, we will get to that review next week, but that's his next film, so we'll keep an eye on that and see how it develops. And then literally the final piece of news, and this isn't anything major, I just kind of wanted to share it because it was a little bit of a cool thing for me. Basically, if anybody watched WrestleMania 34 last Sunday.
I did.
Negatory.
So there was a mask by Luke Harper. I don't necessarily know who that is, Jeremy.
If you guys seen Mohawk, he was in Mohawk. And yeah, it's kind of like a horror-esque character.
Yeah, but he's a wrestler, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So he's a wrestler, and he wore a mask that was kind of like a skull, and it was created by Tom Savini's school, and actually the person who sculpted it is a coworker of mine. Her name is Petra, and she sculpted this mask. I just thought it was cool. Kind of shout that out a little bit. It's not every day that you get to, work on something that gets in front of that many people. I thought that was really neat. It was.
I really thought you were going to say, it's not every day you get to work with somebody who does something like that. I was going to be like, fuck you, JP.
Yeah.
I work on that shit every day.
Yeah.
Asshole.
No. It was supervised, molded, fabricated, and painted by Jason Baker, and Petra Burkhalter sculpted it. And I actually work with her. I'm going to be training her coming up here in another position, but she started working with us a few months ago. Really cool girl, and she's got just finished the school, the Tom Savini Makeup Effects School. So hopefully big things come her way. I think that's really neat.
Harley munching on her carpet yet?
No, she has a boyfriend.
Oh,
so
damn,
can she not?
Harley's disappointed.
Can she not find regular work in the industry?
Well, she just graduated, just recently.
Yeah.
So, I guess that is work in the industry, right?
I guess. Well, there's some programs and shit like that. Just before you graduate, there's a program to get your shit out there, and sometimes they help you find a job, right? Within the
I know she's working with Tom Savini on some stuff. I haven't really talked about it too much.
Yeah.
But yeah, so.
It's pretty cool,
that's the news. Not much. I didn't see anything else. If you guys saw stuff.
You know me, man. I don't actually follow the news. So.
Yeah. All right. So I did have this email here. If you wanted me to.
You've got mail.
Read that.
All right. Well, sure. This is one of those old emails or something.
Yeah, this was from March 26th, so not too old.
How about the Meg trailer? You guys watched the Meg trailer?
No, I don't watch trailers unless it's in the theater.
That's kind of how I am too.
Why? Did you watch it?
I could give a shit.
I did. I
So
did
you
end up
watch
seeing.
it?
No, because I don't really care, so I didn't watch it.
Oh, I'm assuming you guys seen
giant sharks.
I'm assuming you guys saw the trailer for Hereditary.
Yeah.
No.
No?
Really? You haven't seen it yet?
Hereditary?
Hereditary, the A24 film that everybody's talking about.
Yeah.
Dude, oh, yeah. I've seen that trailer 1,000 times now.
Like the
Yeah.
girl. Yeah.
I thought it looked
Yeah.
okay. I mean,
It's
like
pretty
I
good.
said, it's
Yeah.
usually.
I mean, I'm always excited to see what A24 does.
That 8th grade movie looks good too. That's A24.
All right, so here's this email here. It's from Anthony Smith. He writes, I'm listening to Halloween Franchise Review Part 1. So perfect timing for an email where I'll show you why Halloween 4 and Poltergeist 3 are the same film. The protagonist in both films is a young girl, both not living with their immediate family. Both have an older sibling who has to watch the young girl because the parents have something else to do. Both have a scene where the young girl overhears the older sibling on the phone talking how they got a babysit and didn't want to, and both scenes have the young girl commenting on it. Both babysitters lose the young girl who are chased by the bad guy. Both have a scene with with the multiple of antagonists, group of teens wearing Michael Myers masks, multiple canes in the mirror reflection. Both films have a preacher priest. Each film has a young girl, has a guardian angel helping them, Gina and Loomis. Bad guy gets both girls in the film who's helped by the guardian angel to defeat the bad guy. Both bad guys are brought back similarly because of their other people opening their big mouths, Dr. Seaton making Carol Ann talk, and Kane, an ambulance driver, mentioned Michael having a niece. Both films end with families together. Both films have ominous ending. Both films are set in Chicago. Both films came out.
Wait, what film takes place in Chicago? Halloween.
Poltergeist 2 and Halloween 4.
It doesn't take place in Chicago.
Well, it takes place in Illinois.
Like way far down south. It's not even close to Chicago.
Yeah, probably close to where you live. Both
No, I
films
live
came
north,
out in
you
1988. Also funny that Halloween 4 has a little girl and a brunette and an older one, blonde, and P3 is vice versa with young blonde girl and older girl, a brunette. So that's Tony from New Jersey.
Wow, Tony
saying
from New Jersey, you have way too much time on your hands. No, I'm just
It's
joking.
funny because
It's interesting.
then he so check this out. So then he drops his ratings of all the Halloween films. So Halloween 6 out of 10, Halloween 2 9 out of 10, Halloween 3 6 out of 10, Halloween 4 9.5 out of 10, Halloween 5 2 out of 10.
These are Don
Halloween
and Ellie
6,
ratings.
7.5 out of 10. Halloween 7, which is H2O, 7 out of 10, and then Halloween 8, which is Resurrection, 5 out of 5. What the hell? Unless he means 5 out of 10.
I think he meant 5 out of 10.
Has to be some, that is some Don and Ellie style ratings right there. Andrew Schroyer, Don and Ellie, meet Tony from New Jersey.
What about the remakes?
I guess he doesn't count those.
Oh, I guess not. Man, those were some fucked up ratings. Halloween 6 out of 10? What? Each their own, I guess. But
I like Halloween 6. It's probably the best one out of
No,
4, 5,
Halloween
6.
6 out of 10. Halloween 6 out of 10.
I thought you mean Halloween 6.
No, Halloween 6 is a 7.5 out of 10.
But he gave Halloween 3 6 out of 10 also. So that's weird.
Yeah.
Probably the
Because
only
Halloween-
person in history to ever give Halloween 1 and 3 the same rating.
Yeah. Maybe Don and Ellie or Andrew Schroyer. But I'm not quite sure.
What was his rating on part 4?
That was that guy that was on the show a few weeks ago, right?
Halloween 4 was a 9.5 out of 10.
9.5,
So that's
okay.
his favorite out of the series.
Isn't it? It's so interesting how people perceive these films so differently, because the majority of people see part 4 as being, it's decent, but it has like the worst mask, and for the Halloween fanboys, it's not universally that light.
No, guys, we just got some devastating news here. Breaking news: R. Lee Ermey has passed away. Of course, we know R. Lee Ermey in the horror world from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre reboots, as well as tons of other stuff in other films. Sergeant Hartman in
The greatest villain
Jacket.
ever.
God damn, man, that's fucked. I was just watching The Frighteners again the other night with my kid, and he's in that one too, playing
one
the
of
fucking
greatest
sergeant.
villains.
74 years old.
You were watching Full Metal Jacket with your kid already?
He said Frighteners.
The Frighteners.
Oh, I thought you said Full Metal
Dude,
Jacket.
I watched
Hell
Full Metal
yeah.
Jacket,
and he
when I
plays
was,
he plays the colonel in that one too. It's like the same character. Yeah. Man, that sucks, man. He was fucking legend, man.
Rest in peace, R. Lee Ermey. You the man. Favorite of mine, personally.
Oh man, he made those Texas Chainsaw movies.
I agree.
Yeah, he really did.
Awesome.
So that's the email. That's the breaking news. That's it.
Alrighty. Cool, man. Cool. Well, at least we got that email out of the way within a month.
Yeah.
It's good.
Thank you for the email.
It's good stuff.
We didn't even comment on it.
Huh?
Do you think he's right?
Oh, I don't know. I've never seen wait, did Poltergeist? No, I never seen Poltergeist 2.
3.
I haven't seen it in a
3.
long time.
Oh, shit.
You talking about part?
I've only seen Poltergeist 1 and 2 and the remake. I've never seen 3.
Do you like part 2?
I haven't seen it in a long time.
It didn't make my top 10 of 1986.
I'm actually not a big fan of part 2.
I'm not really a big fan of any of them, honestly.
The lore in part 2 just kind of, I just find it so stale, and the whole Native American, I don't know, everything about it just kind of bugs me, but I actually like part 3, even though Jeremy would probably...
I've actually heard from a lot of people that they prefer part 3.
It's the setting of it, man. It's in a high-riser. I like the effects in it. It's a fun film, and plus it's got one of my favorite poster arts of all time.
Yeah, if you guys ever notice when we discuss like trilogies and franchises to do, I never bring up Poltergeist.
Yeah, you don't. In which there's 4 of those, but
yeah, it's because I never want to do it. I mean, I'm sure we will eventually, but it's not something on the top of my radar that I want to cover.
What was your you seen the remake though, right?
Yeah, I seen the remake.
Did you like
it?
It
Was alright. It's okay. It was like
Never
bland.
seen it.
It was very bland, but it was okay. It was like a 6.5, 7 out of 10.
It was very hit and miss with me too. I thought they did some good things okay in that film, but they did a lot of things there was a lot of stupidness to it. Mm-hmm. Which, if we ever do it, we'll get into it. But there was so many little quirky, stupid things in that film I thought were ridiculous. But Poltergeist, yeah. All right, well, let's move along here, and we'll get into this week's box office brawl.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Jeremy.
Ring-a-ring-a-ding-a-ding.
All right, so we posted it on the page. I assume that you don't have it pulled up, Jeremy.
Very much like the contests. I will pull it up right now. So this week we have Rampage and Truth or Dare.
Well, we had it last week, but the results are in.
All right, so I guessed 40 million for Rampage, 10 million for Truth or Dare. JP, oh man, this is horrible grammar. JP went next, and he picked 35 million for Rampage and 14 million for Truth or Dare. And Moodz picked 35 for Rampage.
He split us. I split him.
Wait.
Yeah.
What?
You didn't say what you fucking were gonna guess for Rampage, bro.
Who? Moodz? Yeah, he did.
Who did?
Huh? Did I not write it there? Oh, I said 37.5. I lost anyway. I guess I forgot to write it in there.
Yeah,
but I did say it in the chat.
Yeah, I went under. That's right.
And then Moodz went 35 for Rampage and 12 million for Truth or Dare. And the results are in. Rampage this weekend made 34
These are estimated
34,500,000.
Damn, I was right on the mark there.
Quiet Place made 32,600,000. So another stellar week for A Quiet Place. And Truth or Dare, the big shocker this week, came in at 19,080,000. 19.
Listen, dude, I had strategy behind this pick. So I knew that Rampage typically makes between 35 million and 40 million because all of The Rock's movies of recent times have come in between those numbers on opening weekend. So I figured it would make the same. Unfortunately, I went a little too high. Moodz wins that one versus me. So that would take it 10-9 for Moodz versus me.
Oh, I'm never going to win.
And so he takes the lead on me there. But I picked better, closer than Jeremy, so I get a point there, which takes me to 15 to 7 for Jeremy versus me.
Jesus.
So 15-7.
You Moodz, you fucking asshole. Jesus.
So
You're getting your shitter blown out there, man. Damn.
Well, it's not the first time it's happened, so.
yeah. And then Moodz versus Jeremy. Moodz takes it, so that takes him 11-7 for Moodz versus Jeremy. Moodz in the lead, 11-7. And then when you factor in the second thing, it takes me to 10-10 to Moodz because I beat him on Truth or Dare. 16-7 for Jeremy. I'm close to getting my Blu-ray. And I guess Moodz would lose that one. So Jeremy gains a point on Moodz, which takes it 11-8.
Man, that Truth or Dare, that's very... honestly...
I called it. Listen, Blumhouse, all of their recent movies have not gone under 14. And another movie that just came out last year, Friend Request, I felt like it was the exact same movie. It was the same target audience, same kind of buzz.
But it made no money.
What?
Friend Request.
It made 14 on opening weekend.
No,
that's why
didn't.
I guessed 14. Did it not?
No. Friend Request? It made $2 million on opening weekend. Total domestic gross was $3,759,000.
Is that Blumhouse? Where did I get this information?
That's not Blumhouse. It's Entertainment Studios.
What am I thinking of then? I'm thinking of another movie that came out last year.
Wish Upon?
No, it was a Blumhouse movie.
Shit, Man? That wasn't Blumhouse.
No, that wasn't Blumhouse.
I don't know. I'm not sure which one you're talking about.
Okay, let me see.
But I mean, I should have known better.
Oh, that wasn't last year.
A PG-13 film called Truth or Dare.
Oh, it was a Ouija from 2 years
Ouija
ago.
2.
Yeah. So that did 14
Oh, The
million.
Origin of Evil, yeah. That was actually a good film.
Yeah, I don't know why I was saying... Oh, no, it was Unfriended that I was thinking of from 2015. Did 15 million. And I thought that these movies felt around the same.
Yeah.
Well, Truth or Dare sucks cock anyway, so...
It doesn't actually surprise me again. PG-13, that market, Truth or Dare is the
I don't
title.
know
when
why
it was
everybody
going
was
up
saying it
against
was going to
Quiet
fall.
Place.
Yeah, but I feel like
That's probably why it did so well, though, because people went and saw A Quiet Place and they went and seen fucking Truth or Dare right after.
Oh my god!
Got him in the
I
fucking
think
mode.
that it's also this is a teen film. Quiet Place is not a marketed towards teens, really. You know what I mean? Even though that you're going to get a crossover from it being PG-13, and it's the only horror that came out that week.
Yeah.
Being A Quiet Place the week before. But at the same time, I don't think it's really going to hurt a film that is centered around teens. I mean, it did a lot better than I think that anybody besides me was giving it credit for. Like I said, I came in at 14, and it even did better than what I thought.
I don't understand.
It actually doesn't surprise me. I mean, look at PG-13 and the title. I mean,
but the movie sucks. You think people would say, "Oh, I'm not going to go see it."
But it's only one day.
Horrible.
I mean, these numbers are based on
first of all,
2-day totals.
the movie does not suck. Okay, Andrew Shore gave it a 9 out of 10.
Oh my god!
Fuck, of course.
I
haven't even seen the movie yet, and I know that shit ain't a 9 out of fucking 10. Come on.
It's definitely not a 9 out of 10 to me. 100% sure. But I definitely liked it more than Jeremy did. I think Carly liked it more than Jeremy did. Which, to put this into context a little bit, Carly hated Happy Death Day. I liked Happy Death Day.
That's why Carly's my girl, man. That's why Carly. Yeah, Happy Death. Happy shit day.
So Truth or Dare definitely has. I'll review it this episode.
Happy fucking colon blow day.
Jeremy had a ton of problems with Truth or Dare that weren't actually problems.
You know what? Fuck you, JP.
No, listen. I if you guys seen our text back and forth, I pretty much explain. He just wasn't paying attention or something. I explained at least 7 things.
He was too busy focusing on those 14-year-olds getting more fucking vagina than him.
And you said stupid shit too, so fuck you.
I didn't really say stupid shit.
Well, I called you out on one thing that you were wrong on.
It wasn't really wrong. It was just a different perspective.
It's a PG-13 film. You should be getting nothing wrong. I'm sure the narrative's not that complex.
It actually is a little complicated.
Yeah, it is pretty stupid.
The rules of how the game works are not super easy to follow. Hence why Jeremy was dumb as helling all over the place when he was talking about it. But they were not overly complicated. I picked it up, but they definitely, if you're not paying attention, you could get lost on how the rules work.
The ending's just retarded.
I don't know how I feel about the ending.
It's dumb.
Well, the reason you think it's dumb doesn't make sense. I think
it doesn't make sense. That's why it's dumb.
It does make sense. You just didn't understand it. I explained it to you.
It's such a cop-out ending, in my opinion, to be honest with you.
I think it makes total sense.
Because it's going to be the end of the
in the
world
beginning.
Now it's going to be the end of the world.
Well, eventually.
That's so stupid that this is going to be the cause of what's going to end the fucking human race.
Is there really a thing that's not stupid that can end the world? What about
a fucking game of Truth
I think nukes are pretty stupid.
Stupider than a game of Truth or Dare that fucking possesses people to make them fucking kill each other.
You're fixated on the fact that it's a Truth or Dare thing, and instead of just the fact that it's a curse. It's a curse. It's just that's how it's being played out for the reasons of the person who set the curse.
It's dumb.
Okay. Can't wait to see this one. Sounds
so next week.
Amazing.
Not next week, but the week after.
No, it's the week after that.
Film. The week after that. But we won't be recording in time for it, so we're just going to throw out our numbers now. It comes out May 4th, and we won't be recording because of the 76 show. We won't be covering Box Office Brawl, obviously. So that is Bad Samaritan. Anybody know anything about it?
Nope, but I have a feeling it's going to go down the same road as Friend Request, and it's going to make no money.
All right, so who wants to throw out a title here? It's a horror thriller starring David Tennant and directed by Dean Devlin, presented by Electric Entertainment. We do not have the theater count. If it does come out by that time and it's under 2,000, 1,000, but under 1,000, we won't count it. But as far as we know, it's nationwide. What does that actually mean? Who knows? So what are you coming at, Jeremy?
4.5 million.
Moodz.
Add Samaritan. God, this thing. Whew. Just reading the synopsis on it.
Look that bad. It looks okay.
A pair of burglars stumble upon a woman being held captive in a home they intend to rob.
That's actually kind of cool sounding.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
Are we doing Actually, we might as well do Breaking In as well, because we won't have a show for that.
Why?
So Bad Samaritan. That sounds kind of cool, actually. But Jeremy said, what'd you say, Jeremy?
4.5 million.
4.5. Fuck.
Jesus.
Yeah, I don't know, man. If this one's gonna, I don't know if this one's gonna hit the mark either.
All right, I'll just go. All right, go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna come in about 6. I think it might do.
Jesus, man.
I know. Jeremy's so low. Coming in lower is hard.
Mood says 6. I'll say 4.6.
Oh, you're such a cocksucker. What a fucking cocksucker.
That's funny. I just don't know.
I have no idea what to go with this.
At least go at 4.6.
Yeah, I don't know where to put this one on the scale either.
I have no idea the scale of it. I haven't seen anything of it, so my guess is purely on Jeremy's guess. That's Moodz probably made the best call with going over. If he wasn't going to go under, it's probably best to go over.
At least he didn't go 4.6.
Okay, so Breaking In. I actually think this movie looks really kind of interesting. It's like a female-driven,
Well, I'm not going to be racist, but the black folks always show up for these horror movies, so.
Yeah, which it's technically labeled as a thriller. It's done by Universal.
But it's still a black person film.
It has Rihanna in the trailer singing. That's gonna.
What the hell does that even mean? It's a black person film.
It's like a Tyler Perry.
It's like the lead is black woman.
The family's black. Everybody's black. So it's one of those movies. It's like a Tyler Perry film.
It's like Black Panther.
Sure.
Good. Predict Black Panther numbers, Jeremy.
Well, they're fucking amazing. So.
Yeah, but there's black people out there saying. That's a white ass film, man.
But there was that movie that came out a few weeks ago called it started with an A. But that movie made a shit ton of money because fucking Tyler Perry produced it, even though it's gotten horrible reviews.
Okay. So this comes out on Mother's Day, too, and it's a female empowerment film. That could be beneficial. Mothers, daughters going to see it together.
That's the name of that fucking stupid ass Tyler Perry movie.
I think this movie's going to do well. What's it going up against, really? Anything good? It's going up against a bunch of stuff I've never heard of. So,
Overboard. That looks kind of dumb.
Life's a Party. It's going up against. Overboard comes out the week before.
I mean, Tully might do something. That's the new Diablo Cody film.
Yeah. Do we have a rating on? It's not yet rated according.
It's going to be PG-13.
What, Breaking In?
Most likely PG. Yeah, it's most likely PG.
No, it is PG-13.
IMDb says PG-13. So
okay, yeah. I mean, I couldn't imagine that film being all.
Okay, but a woman fights to protect her family during a home invasion. Are you fucking kidding me?
Have you not seen the trailer to this?
No, I haven't.
It's. I'm gonna be honest.
You should see who the director is,
dude.
It's the fucking whitest dude. He's whiter than I am.
You don't have to be.
That's actually impossible.
Well, it's true. Look at him.
But
what has this guy done? Marco Polo. Oh, he directed Ninja Assassin? Wow.
Moodz. Basically, it's about a woman who has her kids, and these people are in the house, and they kidnap the kids, and she's trying to get in there to get back her kids. But the house has like steel shutters that come down and stuff like that. It's pretty basic looking, but at the same time, it looks like it's very heavily on like the female empowerment, like just the way that the mother is acting in the trailer.
Well, I'm just gonna go see it so I can get a digital copy of Truth or Dare, this movie, Halloween and The Purge. So you see all four, they give you a free digital copy of all of them. So yeah.
How do you do that?
Is that just through?
If you go to Regal, if you see them at Regal,
I don't go to Regal.
You have a Regal Crown Club card, and you use it when you buy tickets for all four of them. They give you a digital copy for all the Blumhouse films.
That's kind of cool. This is Blumhouse?
I would assume
Universal.
So.
It's Universal.
Blumhouse
is like a subsidiary of Universal, right?
Yeah.
So. Well, I will say, man, I do like, some home invasion shit, and I also like Gabriel
Black
Union.
People.
No. Dude,
what did he say? Black people?
Black people. I love Gabriel Union, man. She's fucking hot.
Yeah, she is, too. She's nice.
So, I mean, that's a good combination. PG-13, that kind of... I don't know, man. I find that some PG-13 home invasion films can be a little bit tame.
Well, it's not a horror film, so it's going to be tame. It's the thriller.
Yeah, it is dubbed as a thriller. So, yeah, that is true.
You have to look at it like a thriller as well.
Well, and
I'll go first.
Okay.
18 million.
18 million. Wow, you're really... Ooh. Wow.
Moodz?
You're thinking that, this is playing off the success of Black Panther and...
Black people like their movies that are dedicated to black people.
Okay.
It's true, bro. I think all the Tyler Perry
you know what's
movies
funny? This is kind of a callback. When we first started this Box Office Brawl, it started in a chat with me and Jeremy. And we were talking about All Eyes on Me, which was the Tupac film. And he was saying it was going to bomb, and I was like, not so sure, buddy. First of all, it's about a famous rapper, and second of all, black people will show up for this film. It's the demographic, and that's actually how Box Office Brawl started. So he's taking my thunder right now.
Well, that's why it's covering. Tyler Perry makes a bunch load of movies because they make a shit ton of money because all the black people like movies that have black main characters in it. I'm not being racist; it's true.
I mean, in a generalizing way, when you go to see a film like Get Out, more of the audience is black than white.
Yeah.
In my case, at least. So, I mean, yeah, like, of course they, like, I think they should support.
Jesus Christ. It's so fucked up, man. I don't even think of shit like that. I never once ever thought that movies were going to do better based on that.
We do. When
see,
we
with
think,
Tupac,
like,
I mean, it does make sense. I mean, but Tupac is like, he's a famous rapper, which is also
he's a leader in, a lot of people. He was very political with black rights as well. So,
well, of course, but it's also, it's to the whole hip hop community too, which we all know there's mixed races that love hip hop music, right? So you're bringing in that whole crowd, not just black people.
Obviously, it's not like only black people are going to go see it, but I'm just saying, like,
there's not a giant sign above the theater that says blacks only. It's like, come on, Moodz.
This show's gotten awfully racist, guys.
Breaking in, man. I'm going really low on this. I'm gonna go about 8. I don't think it's gonna do that great.
So
honestly.
Moodz says 8. Jeremy says what? 6, 5. What'd you say?
I don't remember.
He said like
18. 16? What'd you say? 18?
17.
He didn't say 17.
I think he said 18.
Yeah, I think he said 18.
Sure.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and say...
Well, I can't imagine you not splitting us here.
I'm not. I'm going to say 18.1.
Fuck, you're going... Wow.
What a fucking dick. Twice in a row.
But it doesn't matter if I say 18.5 or 18.1, It's going to do over 18, I think.
All right.
I think it's going to, man. I do think, and the reason I say that, it's a holiday, it's Mother's Day. I think a lot of mother-daughter groups can go see this, which gives you 2 tickets instead of 1. I think that obviously, typically when you do see a female empowerment movie, they do well. They have been doing well as of recently, and I think that that's going to factor in. Having this badass chick as the lead, who clearly in the trailer looks badass and is willing to do anything for her kids. I think it's going to do well. It looks like a good movie to me. I'm going to check it out. I think that it'll do around 20. really, but I'm going to say 18.1 to be a douche.
I just personally think that the PG-13 rating is actually going to hurt this one. But
you're looking at it from a horror. I think you're just based on what I'm seeing here. It sounds like you're looking at it from a horror perspective.
No,
as if like people go out and see thrillers.
I'm looking at the fact that like, you know, a lot of people that are, you know, kids that are able to get into a film like this, it's not going to appeal to them. Right? And I don't think it's going to appeal to a lot of adults either, being PG-13.
This is not marketed towards kids 100%. This is not it.
Exactly. And that's another reason why it's not going to do as well.
Kids.
Yeah, I don't know. I just don't think it's going to intrigue a lot of adults either, to be honest, but I guess we'll see. I mean, we've been right, we've been wrong. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, me and you split a lot. We're 10 and 10 right now. So Jeremy sucks.
Well, we already know that.
In his own game.
Do you expect anything else?
That is Box Office Brawl.
I am the devil, and I am here to do the devil's work.
They will say that I have shed innocent blood. What's blood for, if not for shedding?
I like to dissect girls. Did you know I'm utterly insane?
Have you checked the children?
What do we do?
Why don't we just wait here for a little while? See what happens.
Oh yeah, getting into the dub portion of the show. Yeah, that is what we watched, where we go round tree, review a bunch of shitty ass movies, give our shitty ass ratings, and then pass the baton to the next Patreon reviewer. Jeremy, you want to start us off this week?
Sure, let's go back to some plastic dicks. Okay, we're going to be talking about DickShark from the year 2016 with a running time of 200 minutes, which is 3 hours and 20 minutes long. So it's 200 minutes. I'll convert it to Jerry retard time. 3 hours and 20 minutes long.
So, question, did you take my advice and watch it in pieces?
I watched it 50-50.
I got a question.
Oh,
I got a question here. This has to be one of the longest horror films of all time.
It's not a horror film. Come on.
It's not a horror film.
Well, I mean, I guess if you put it into that type of category, but still,
it's basically just Bill Zebub plays like this scientist character, and his roommate steals this cream that is supposed to make your dick big, but instead it makes it into a shark, and it goes up into girls' muffs and eats their muffs, and that's basically about it. And along the way, it's just Bill Zebub and long scenes with naked women touching them and talking about this DickShark, and that's about it. It's just one scene after another of this shark that's poorly molded. It looks like it fucking went into a creepy crawler machine and it shot out this. It's just horribly molded when you really look at it. Now, Bill Zebub, I have nothing against Bill Zebub.
I do.
I mean, it's like
I don't like.
I just feel like all he does is he makes these movies that he's able to touch girls' tits and fadges and all this stuff and gets extreme close-ups of softcore porn type of scenes that really have nothing to do with horror films whatsoever. And he makes like 20 of these a fucking year, and he releases them at places like Cinema Wasteland for idiots to buy them. Now, I'm not saying everybody who buys them are idiots, but I'm saying that everybody who buys them are idiots. So, I mean, I don't know if he's a bad dude. I've never met him. Even when me and Moodz went to Wasteland, I never met him or anything like that. But I just think it's like they have no purpose. I mean, why do you have to make a film named DickShark be 200 minutes long, and 8 minutes of that is just him talking to this girl, and maybe every 3 or 4 minutes he touches her tits and then backs off and then has more dialogue about this, how he fucking created this freaking DickShark thing out of a cream. It's just it's frustrating after a while of watching the same thing over and over and over again. And like some of the girls actually aren't that bad looking, and it's like I have no idea how he's able to talk these girls into doing the stuff that they do. giving a DickShark a blowjob. It's like, or having it like rub up against the muff. We don't see no penetration. We don't see the DickShark actually go into the pussy, but we see it rub up a lot of the time. It's just, it's dumb.
My thing is, man, like, obviously I don't know Bill Zebub. He could be an awesome dude, but I've seen a couple of his films, and I just feel like I wouldn't like the guy based on the type of movies he makes. Like, he's very offensive, but it's not in a funny way. And I think that it's annoying. And I think it's even more messed up that he charges people for this stuff. It should be. He
doesn't charge much.
I don't know, man. Really? Okay, well, that's a plus. You know, I guess you're gonna, if you're willing to buy a film like DickShark, you kind of know what you're getting into.
Out of 200 minutes.
I just don't know. I just don't really necessarily like that style of filmmaking. Like, I think that it's one of the debates that I have with myself often, where it's like everything should be allowed to be said and made and things like that. I'm all for that, but it almost sucks that in this age it's a double-edged sword, because everybody can make a movie, which is cool, but everybody can make a movie, which is not cool, because then you get, because I got Worst Horror Movie, which is one of his films, you know, thinking that it would be something obviously bad but funny, and it was not bad. It was not funny. It was definitely bad. Mm-hmm. It was like trying to be like offensive in like a South Parky type way, but it completely fell flat. Like, none of the jokes worked.
I think the idea is like fine if it was like 40 minutes, but it's like when you push the 3-hour mark of watching the same thing over and over again, gets to be a little bit too much. So
I wish he didn't make movies, because every once in a while you could accidentally get a hold of a Bill Zebub film.
Moodz, like, you haven't said anything.
Yeah, well, I was just waiting for you guys to finish. I've met Bill before. He's a pretty nice guy. Actually, it was kind of funny, man. I talked to Bill for a few minutes at Wasteland, and he actually had to go do something, and I was looking at the table and the films and stuff, and there was.
Yeah, he probably had to go make the next scene for his 18,000 movie.
Well, it's funny because that's
what it looks like. Like, you watch him and be like, this looks like a hotel room at fucking Wasteland.
There was people there that were in his films that he was, behind at his table and stuff. But it was funny because he had to go do something, and I was talking to the guy that was selling the merchandise. And I said, so what of his films do you recommend? And he looks at me and he's like, I like the stuff that isn't the comedy stuff. That's like straight up what he said to me.
Is there any?
Yeah, there is. Some of his older stuff was a little bit more horrorish, right? And it was still offensive things, like kind of like Zombie Christ and things like that. But he said, like, well, pretty much what he's been doing in the last few years is just all this crazy comedy shit, and it was kind of interesting to hear it right from that dude's mouth that was standing next to him, And he's like,
it's definitely exploitive, right? It's
exploitive
this concept that the people who watch like Full Moon and Trauma, like the funny, over the top stuff, you get a plastic DickShark and you're like, oh, like DickShark, that sounds crazy funny, like ridiculous, and then but is it really a film though?
I just don't get how he convinces the girls to be in these fucking movies.
That's because you can't convince a girl to do anything. That's the
I
only
know, but it's he's like going like full in there, fucking.
Look, if Bill Zebub could do it, you probably could too, Jeremy.
Thanks.
I mean, he has 53 film credits, and it's like all movies and documentaries and shit so, I mean, people obviously know who he is in his area that he lives and shit, so, I mean, I guess that's how he gets people to do these films, but it's, yeah, to me, man, I agree, though, like, DickShark...
Santa Claus, a serial rapist, clocks in at 2 hours and 5 minutes.
All of his movies... you just feel embarrassed to charge somebody for something like that? that that you didn't put any time and effort into, you just kind of got a bunch of people together and just let the camera roll and pushed a fake plastic shark into somebody's vagina. And I mean, because from what Jeremy's, I haven't seen it, but from what Jeremy's saying, it's completely
softcore porno.
Well, I think a lot of this stuff...
Nightmare on Elmo Street.
It's straight...
2 hours and 4 minutes.
It's straight exploitive. He makes films to piss you off, is essentially what he's doing. Like, a great example of a film, just by the title alone, Forgive Me for Raping You. I mean, that title alone is super offensive. It's like, forgive me for raping you? Like, come on. It's got the word rape in it.
Jesus, the total douchebag.
And it's 2 hours and 49 minutes.
Yeah.
So
rap sucks.
I've seen this movie before.
These are all offensive titles. Yeah, I get that.
Like this movie right here, Forgive Me for Raping You, is not a comedy. It's like a straight up like kind of drama type thing. But the problem is with the movie is that it's the same thing over and over again. It's about this dude that walks around and he rapes a girl, and it just moves on to the next scene. It's like this dude walks around, finds another girl to rape, and then he rapes her. And it goes on and on and on and on, and you're just like, what the fuck? He makes movies that should be shorts. All these movies and ideas that he has are perfect, like 20-25 minute shorts, not fucking 2 hours to 3 hours. That is the most offensive thing to me about Bill Zebub's films, is simply the fact that he does not know when to fucking throw in the towel.
I just wish he made like a real film and shown that he can make a movie. Or I like to see people when they make movies. I like to see them put all their effort in. It just seems so effortless, and I think it's disrespectful to the craft. Is kind of what I'm mostly offended about. You know, I don't care if it's what he actually does, as long as he's not hurting anybody or anything like that. It could be, I'm not offended at anything like, thank you for raping me or whatever. Like, stuff like that doesn't offend me. It's more so just the...
it does. But I mean, it's the intent is there. It's there to offend. It may not offend you personally, but, you know, it offends Amazon. They can't sell his movies on there because it has rape in the title. But, you know, it has a picture of a priest groping a young girl, and the title is, Please Forgive Me for Raping You. Or Forgive Me for Raping You. You know, it's
do you
like
think it's disrespectful to the craft of just filmmaking? Or do you not consider stuff like that?
I don't. I mean, everybody has
their... how he gets, like, Scarlet Storm to be in his movie.
Everybody has...
a bad-looking girl. It's like...
the right to make films. Everybody has the right to make films. I mean, this is going back to the argument of, you know, back in the 80s when people, you know, grabbed their camcorders and started making homemade films, hence shot on video films. You know, the problem is now is that everybody can do that. And this is kind of a byproduct of that right there. This is the 1980s, but in modern times, essentially is what it is. And the biggest problem with these type of films and having the access and the technology to do this is that it's watering down. My biggest problem is with these type of films is that it's watering down, you know, the genre films and the exploitation films. Yeah, and the real no budget films. The people, that's the problem. I mean, he's made 53 films in, like, you know, last 10 years kind of thing, 12 years, whatever it is.
I think Dustin Mills just launched a Kickstarter or something for a sequel that he wanted to do recently. Stuff like that. You know
Scarlet Storm Moodz?
What's that?
You know Scarlet Storm?
I do. I know the name. I'd have to see her.
She isn't that bad looking of a girl. It's like, I don't know how
You don't have to be a bad looking girl.
But she's in like 8 of his movies, bro.
Well, maybe she's friends with him.
Yeah.
But it's like, I don't understand. Like, why would, even if you're friends, it's like, don't you have any dignity to at least ask your friend why this movie sucks?
I'm fine with people making sucky movies if they tried real hard. I just don't like people who don't try at all and then exploit people into buying their movies and make a living off of not trying to make a film when you want to be a filmmaker. It just seems silly to me. It annoys me a little bit. He could be a really nice guy. I don't know. I had this rant before, like 3 years ago on Bill Zebub when I watched Worst Horror Movie Ever Made. It annoys me. I think it hurts the craft of you know, indie films. I think it's lazy. I just would be embarrassed if I made it. Yeah. And I don't think this guy is. Clearly he likes making them, and he should be allowed. I agree, he should be allowed.
Of course.
Everybody should be able to make whatever they want. But I think that people should, you know,
I think when
give him a little shit for it, I guess.
I just think when you have titles like Jesus, the total douchebag, you know, if you're going to, people are buying that based on that hilarious title. I mean, that's ridiculous.
Which I own that as well.
Total douchebag. I think people want, a little bit more than they're going to get from his films. That's the problem, right? He's not delivering anything except for he's giving you this big shock title, and then everything in it.
It's just trying. I wish he would just freaking try. Damn it.
Yeah, like Ant Farm Dickhole. That's a pretty funny title. Actually,
is.
That actually is, in my opinion, that's the best Beelzebub film I've ever seen. It's got some decency to it. I mean, it's still the Beelzebub level of filmmaking, but it's actually made me laugh a couple times. I haven't seen the majority of his films, but I don't know.
I wonder wwhy.
Yeah.
I mean, it is what it is, man. I like to see people put effort in when they make movies. That's all my thing. I like even the
I think what the biggest difference is. I think that one of the biggest differences is we've talked about this many times. Today's filmmaking standards, like these indie type films, are kind of the equivalent of the 80s shot on video films. But the difference is back then is that they were really putting their money and their heart into these films. And a lot of people shit on like, oh, they're homemade and stuff because they don't like the look of the films. And yeah, everything is obviously low budget when you're filming on video and you're doing everything yourselves, like the Plonic brothers and shit. Like, I mean, they did everything themselves. They filmed, wrote, acted,
and
did the
love
effects.
That passion.
And that's the thing.
Amazing to me.
And that's what made them legends in the game, is because everyone saw the heart into these films. These feel to me that he has an idea, he has a shock title, and then he just goes out and just films whatever. There's no, you can feel that there's no actual heart in these films. And I think that's the biggest problem, right? Mm-hmm. It's just not the same as we were watching back in the 80s. And, you can feel the heart and, the standard was a lot different. I feel like these are thrown together. And he's disrespecting people by making them watch a 3 hour and 20 minute film. I mean, he's not making you watch it, but the end product is 3 hours and 20 minutes or 2 hours of the same scene over and over again. That's the fucking problem. You didn't see that. I mean, you did, a little bit in the Polonium Brothers and shot on video films. They would repeat
even
one
if
thing.
you are expecting a completely awful movie, maybe you like awful movies.
Yeah.
The level of,
at least they were
showing the same thing over and over again with no real, thought or concern about wasting people's time. Is
no real narrative.
Sad.
It's just, that's the difference between these films and those films. There's no heart. There's no passion in these.
Like, does Beelzebub make a movie and is he thinking to himself, I want people to like this?
I don't know what he's thinking. He would be a very interesting guy to interview.
I bet you Dave would know.
If you could
Dave seems like somebody who would be friendly with him.
If you could be
Mr. Parka?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Parka?
For sure. He's probably met him a million times. Dave goes to Cinema Wasteland, both times a year.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. He would be interesting to interview.
If you could sit there, and not back away from your own opinion.
The guy, though.
No, but that's the thing. That's the thing. If you could sit there,
he offends everybody else.
If you could sit there and not back away from your opinion and hold your ground, JP, and ask Beelzebub straight up, like, anything you had on your mind about his filmmaking and what he does, it would make for a really interesting interview, right?
Yeah, I would do that. Like, I wouldn't be afraid to say what I think about it. I'm sure he's heard a lot worse.
I would love to hear his mindset in some of these films, because I truly believe he just comes up with a shock title and then just rolls with it. That's essentially what his filmmaking.
Yeah, like with no effort, doesn't have any plan. Just, I'm gonna keep shooting and I'm gonna put it on disc and I'm gonna sell it.
Yep.
And hopefully people will buy it based on the shock title. I wonder, like, this can't be his only job, right? Like, he has to have a job.
You'd be surprised. Idea. You'd be surprised, man. I don't know. I assume that he probably works at
Denny's,
Five Guys or something. I don't know, but
you see him cooking your fucking burger with that fucking long ass hair.
I don't know. We shouldn't rip into him. We shouldn't. I mean, personally. I mean, we can talk shit about his films.
I don't want to personally.
We shouldn't attack him personally, because that's totally not fair, and I apologize for that. But I really,
not me.
I really do. I shouldn't attack him personally. But I mean, we can still judge his films.
Yeah,
because they're out there. They're art,
and that's it out there. Right?
Exactly. But that's what I'm going with, man. But I truly think an interview with him would be quite interesting, because you got lots to talk about. I mean, if you could sit through some of his films, you got definitely lots of material to talk about. But yeah, man, his whole process, I would like to hear it. I'd love to hear it. I don't know, man.
I found a picture of a sale that he had on his website. 30 movies for $150 or 10 movies for $70. So it doesn't charge
a film.
Too much, but I mean,
I got 3 for 15. Well, yeah, so I think it was towards the end of, I want to say, yeah, it must have been. I think it was on Sunday towards the end of the day. That's what it was, and I ended up getting 3 of his films for 15. So, $5. I mean, he made all his money back on his films there.
I wonder if he considers himself a filmmaker.
I mean, I would assume with 53
Does he
credits.
Have a script? Does he write a script for a 3-hour-long movie?
I doubt it. I feel like he ad-libs everything because he stars in pretty much all of his films. So he has, like I said, he has these ideas, and he probably just tells his actors and actresses, to follow his lead.
Probably make a movie though.
Follow his lead.
He probably has enough experience to make a semi entertaining film.
I think so too. If he stepped away from trying to shock people with the title and these ridiculous ideas like DickShark.
Mm-hmm. Like his movies also are pretty
weekly radio show.
the worst horror movie I ever, I'm pretty sure it was really racist and almost like in a cringy way too.
Bill Zebub has a weekly radio show on 91.1 FM, airing Monday nights at midnight until 3 a.m. Tuesday morning Eastern Time. Zebub plays the character Professor Dum Dum, scientist of music and human behavior who hails from Germany. The professor plays heavy metal music and discusses topics with callers. Really, JP fucking Moodz had a radio show. Anybody could have a radio show.
So you're saying Moodz sucks?
I don't know. I didn't listen.
Because anybody can have a radio show.
It's true, though. We have a radio show, technically.
Not technically.
Well, I mean, technically I was live. I was actually on live radio. But anyways, the point is, yeah, man. I mean, Jesus Christ, serial rapist. I mean, are you fucking kidding me here, man?
I mean, listen, I think the names are funny enough to, like, I would maybe watch that for a second, but the quality is not there at all to even just be funny.
No. That's offensive to me. I mean, he literally has a movie called The Most Offensive Comedy Ever Made. Is that the racist film that you're talking about? Because I could imagine how racist that shit probably was.
No, it was worst horror movie ever made was pretty racist, I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I must have watched the uncut version of DickShark because DickShark is over 2 hours and the uncut version is about 3.5 hours. That's what it says on his website.
How'd you watch this film? Did you buy it?
No.
You never want to watch uncut versions of low budget films. It's like Boarding House. There's one cut and then there's one that's like another hour longer, and it just feels like they put the raw footage in there. Don't do it. I
wonder if we could start a Patreon to make Bill Zebub stop making movies.
Wait a minute, I know that chick. The chick's a porno chick. How the hell did she get in this shit too now?
Dude, you're obsessed with the fact that he gets cute girls to film movies.
Is she in Santa Claus Serial Rapist? Or Jesus, the Daughter of God? This guy has an obsession with...
Can we move on?
He has an obsession with like religion and shit. It's ridiculous. Obviously, he's not a... He's not a Jesus fan here, man. He's not a Jesus fan.
He has a 2-hour documentary on his YouTube channel called "The King of the B Movies," Bill Zebub. So I guess
you're not.
No, that's actually a movie. Well, it's actually one of his films.
Oh yeah, it looks like a documentary.
Well,
he calls himself an auteur, which is like, what the fuck?
Yeah, King of B Movies. B Movies. It's a documentary that he did a few years ago. So I don't know about King, but he definitely has a lot of B movies. Are these B? No, these are fucking Z. These are Z and Z films.
Yeah.
All
right, let's move on. We spent way too much time on DickShark. I'll go next with another film about dicks. The Beast from 1975.
Yep, that's right.
This is a French film, La Bête, or whatever. I'm not even going to try. Why'd I try?
I don't know.
I actually had this as a screener from Arrow way back in the day when they did their little check disc thing that we used to get. You guys know those, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Pre-production discs. And I actually had an Umbrella screener that I didn't watch. So I didn't watch because I thought it was a horror movie when I requested it, and I guess it is. But then when I saw the disc, I was like, oh, this doesn't look like horror at all. But apparently it kind of is. So it's fantasy horror, essentially. Okay, I had a hard time following this film. From what I gathered, it follows...
Did you not just give Jeremy shit for not being able to follow Truth or Dare?
Dude, this is way more complicated than Truth or Dare. This is like pure... it's super art housey. Basically, it follows this group of people. I don't know if they're related, if they're family, if they're just this house, like what it is. The film opens up with a horse sex scene where these two horses are going at it, and animals and horse penis and horse vagina and stuff like that. God. So it's 100%
seems like we all got films
graphic.
that has to do with fucking animals, because I got one too.
Yeah. So, well, actually, I think that was the point. That was the.
I did too.
Yeah, that was purposeful. The same guy gave us these.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find the one that I need. But.
So, essentially, these animals are having sex, and there's these group of people. I couldn't follow the dialogue that much. I didn't know who was who, what was what. There's this girl who's having a sneaky sex with this black guy, and then there's this other girl who comes in. I don't know what that girl with the black eye had purpose for. There's these weird taboo scenes where these kids are in the room while they have sex, like in the closet or something. Like she hides them in the closet so she could have sex with this guy secretly. And then there's another scene where they're like on the bed sleeping. So there's this weird like taboo aspect of this film. And then there's what I assume is supposed to be some sort of marriage. There's this guy that has this cast on his hand, and he's marrying this other girl, but they don't know each other, it seems like. So I don't know what was up with that. Essentially, the third act is where all the action happens. We eventually follow this girl. She has this dream in which there's a Bigfoot-style beast monster that chases her and rips her clothes off and tries to have sex with her. She climbs a tree, and he basically licks her vagina a bunch, and he eventually jizzes out of his gorilla penis. Then she wakes up, and she's like, "Oh, what had happened there? I'm very, very aroused right now." She goes and checks on this dude. He's asleep, so she goes back, masturbates a little, falls back asleep. Then she has sex with this beast or gets raped by it. You don't really know. Then she wakes up again, goes checks on the dude, nothing, goes back to her dream, and the beast basically dies from over sex. And she wakes up, goes into that other room, and it turns out the guy was the beast all along because his hand has a beast claw on it. And so it's some sort of weird narrative between dream and reality and bestiality and half human, half beast stuff going on. And they show a lot of, close-ups of vagina and fake beast penis. And they actually have this jizz effect where the beast orgasms a bunch, and this white jizzy stuff comes out all the time, and they show that a bunch of times.
Jizzy stuff.
Man, this movie was something else, dude. Like, it is a very bizarre movie. It honestly isn't that bad. Like, it sounds ridiculous. It is ridiculous. It's not that bad. It has this interesting sort of dream
sounds
narrative.
Like Beauty and the Beast.
A lot of people actually say that, even though the director says that it was not inspired or has anything.
Really?
Yeah. Because I did read that. But definitely there's an introduction on the Arrow Blu-ray with somebody, not the director. I don't know who he was. I can't remember. But he says that the guy who made this had like a fascination with porn, so it makes sense. Because there's definitely
more
a lot
specifically
of
bestiality porn.
Yeah. There's all these. I mean, I think that the idea it's probably very pretentious. I would say that the idea is that the inner beast within us and our sexual desires and all these things, because the film's about sex and beasts, and I believe that's probably what the director was getting at.
Or simply dreams can come true.
I'll tell you right now, it is very ridiculous to see this costumed gorilla with this like fake tongue shoving it up a girl's vagina while she's hanging from a tree and giving the beast a foot job with her feet until it just
that's fucking gross.
It's a very, very graphic, weird movie.
It's very French.
It's very French. It's very just odd.
I was on board with you until you started talking about feet jobs. Fuck that shit, man. Feet are gross.
Yeah, feet are gross, but gorilla dicks are gross too. So, seems like they deserve to be together.
Red rockets are the worst.
But yeah, it was ridiculous looking.
I heard Moodz have like a silent laugh in the background. Did my Red Rocket joke make you laugh?
Yeah, it's just because my dog had a Red Rocket thing this morning. And it's funny that you said that.
That's why I would never have a guy dog, because I cannot stand to look at fucking Red Rockets.
It is disgusting. It actually is gross.
Fucking nasty.
So the movie itself, not my cup of tea, obviously. It was interesting.
Why is it obvious?
Because it's all about...
But you're Mexican. Doesn't your family host like donkey shows and shit?
No.
Like donkeys.
Where's Kelly?
That's a Mexican staple right there, man. Or fucking
Where's
donkey
the
shows.
sexy son? She's the sexy stud.
The movie doesn't hold that much weight to me, even if you factor in all the concepts of primitive like sexual desires and beasts and stuff. It's just, to me, I could do without it. It's kind of funny at first when you start seeing this beast. It's really ridiculous. Like you're like, what the hell am I watching? I hope nobody walks in while I'm watching this, because this just looks...
Well, I know what I'm watching after we record tonight, man, because I still haven't checked this out. I've had the Arrow. I picked it up on an Arrow sale a long time ago, and I just haven't watched. I knew what I was kind of getting myself into because I kept hearing a lot of things about dick and like bestiality and shit, and I was like, well, kind of have to be in the right mood for that one.
The problem with this movie really is that the first hour of it is boring as hell and nothing happens. The beast stuff is actually entertaining because you're like, what the hell am I watching?
Until your kid wakes up and walks into the room and asks what you're watching.
Oh, he's a fucking rock. God, he never wakes up.
So coming in with 1975's The Beast at a solid 4 out of 10.
Oh yeah, I just want to say no rating for DickShark because it doesn't deserve one.
You have to give it a 0.5. Well, you don't have to, but
why? Why do I have to give it a rating?
Because we put it on the ratings page.
Because if you don't give a fucking rating, Rob's gonna fucking blow a shithole.
0.5, fine.
All right.
The lowest possible rating is a 0.5.
Now I'm pretty sure if we all saw that film, that would definitely make the Hall of Pain. I was gonna say Hall of Fame. Wow.
If you make it through, it's fucking 3 hours.
I don't think I'd make the mistake of watching the unrated director's cut of that one.
Listen, here's how you watch DickShark. You put it in your PS4, you play it at 1.5 speed, and you do it in increments.
At 1.5 speed, it's still an hour and a half.
It's still an hour too long. Shit, that's funny. Wow, so we have a 0.5 here, and we have a 4 out of 10.
Yeah,
it's too bad that I didn't get around to watching that wedding throw film, aka the pig fucker film. Pig fucker movie, I think is pig fucker movie. Yeah, I couldn't find the shits. Well, I did find the shits, and then so I found it on YouTube. You
should have just let me do it. I find everything.
I know. I searched again for an hour. But I found it in 2 minutes the other day. Right, it was on YouTube, and then it must have got taken off or something. I don't know. Maybe because it's called Pig Fucker Movie. I don't know. But I did. It's funny because I clicked on it to make sure it was actually the movie, and I was like, well, because I knew it was a film from Belgium, and I'm like, well, I wonder if it has the subtitles. And I started watching it, and it's actually a silent film. So that's weird. So it didn't matter. So I was all set to go, had it bookmarked, and not there. But that would have concluded this round tree of weird.
No, I have another beast. That wasn't my bestiality film.
Oh, well, I meant films with dick in it, I'm assuming.
Oh, okay.
And weird animal shit.
I have another bestiality film next. So,
what do you got, Moodz?
Okay. Well, that sounds intriguing. I can't wait to hear that. Yeah, man. So Patreon pick here sent to me from Fan of Eli. He wanted me to talk about You're Next from 2011. Directed by Adam Wingard. I haven't seen this movie actually since it came out. Well, I guess it would have been 2012 was when I saw it.
No, it was 13.
Was it 13?
Because that made our... I know it made my top 10 of 2013. I don't think you had seen it by the time that we recorded that show.
Yeah.
I know Jeremy had seen it and it made his list too.
I remember it was shortly after, like maybe it came... it's right, because it didn't come out till, what, 12? Or 13? Or
no, it came out in 13.
Yeah, that's right.
It had a theatrical in 13.
Yeah, okay. So...
I was going to say, it can't be 7 years old.
Yeah, I saw it sometime after. Anyways. But you're next. Home invasion film that follows an entire family.
Including Ty West.
Yeah, it's got Ty West in it. So, the parents are played by Barbara Crampton, which is pretty cool, and another guy, can't remember his name. But they have 4 kids. They're a very, very wealthy family. They've got 4 kids. And the thing is with these kids in the family, they haven't actually been around each other in a long time. I think it's the parents' 30th wedding anniversary or something like that. So they all show up at their big-ass mansion to celebrate the parents' anniversary. They, of course, all bring their spouses, so now we have a shitload of people inside this house. They sit down to dinner, and they basically get attacked. Leave it there. My thoughts on your next. It's essentially a home invasion film with a twist kind of thing.
Strong female character. I mean, I think she really is, when I think about it, like, just right off the bat, she's like really is one of the strongest female characters in quite a while.
She's the biggest standout in this movie because I like the premise of this, man. It's a very simple premise. A family being attacked and things like that. And of course, you're thinking the whole time, like, what is causing this? Like, why are these people out here attacking this family? There has to be some type of cause. I think I'd mentioned it before. I had this weird premonition while I was watching the movie, and I'm like, man, this has to be something. And I, of course, was actually correct, but I didn't know exactly who was involved with this. So upon rewatch, I wanted to see if it was going to hold up upon a rewatch, because I find movies like this that have a twist that's that memorable, when you rewatch them, it might not play out as well. But I found myself just kind of noticing how fucking retarded a lot of the characters are in this film. This, it's got it's got a powerful setup, man. I like it, man, because it's this family sitting down for dinner and they just start getting fucking bombarded. And the first person to die in this movie is actually a character named Tariq. And he kind of notices something outside and he looks out the window. Is it
Ty West that dies first?
Yeah. His name is Tariq, played by Ty West. And he kind of looks outside and then wham! He gets fucking impaled by an arrow right in the head. And you're like, damn, it's on. What the fuck's going on here? But right from that moment, I feel that the characters just decide. I understand, like, if you were in this situation, you're in a little bit of a panic mode, and you're probably not going to do things strictly how you would do them if you thought things through. But there is a lot of characters in this film that seem to be just making snap and unrash decisions that are so stupid. They're so fucking stupid, except for the main character in this film, which I'm not even sure who is. She's one of the son's girlfriends who turns out to be this, like, very, very empowered, strong character that, fights off the bad guys and shit. But there's a moment within, 10 minutes after Ty West's character gets killed that one of the daughters, influenced by the family members, to make a decision that is, like, so ridiculous. You guys can probably remember this part, but so if you're inside a house and you have no idea how many assailants are outside, what type of weapons, I mean, you obviously know that they have a bow and arrow because we saw the end result of Ty West, but you don't know how many people are out there. You don't know what exactly is going on. Why would you make a decision that, to run out to the vehicle? Now, it's kind of influenced by the father, some of the other family members. Well, but I mean, this fast after you're being attacked, you think in this situation you would try to figure it out. Okay, there's this many people out here. What can we do to stop? Maybe not going outside is, it's probably not the smartest idea in the world. But it's like decisions like that where they open up the front door. She makes a snap decision that she's the fastest runner and that she can make it to the car. She doesn't even get half a step outside before an arrow goes right through her fucking throat and she's dead. It's shit like that just completely boggles me. Because this movie is shot well. It's got a really cool setup. The pacing in the film is fantastic. It's got a lot of really cool, people that are in the film. I love Barbara Crampton and stuff. But just the writing of the individual characters in this film and the decisions is so frustrating. Like leaving each other, going upstairs and doing this and that and stuff. And upon rewatching, I'm just like, oh my God. The thing that's saving this movie is the awesome kills, and there is a lot of tension because the whole time you're watching this film, you're like, hey, what exactly is going on? Not on rewatch, because you do know what's going on, so you tend to notice these things, these really poor decisions that these characters are making throughout the film. But, all in all, it's actually a pretty exciting film to watch, even upon rewatch, knowing what the twist was going to be and things like that. But, the gore is good, the pacing's good, I think the acting is pretty good. It has besides the parents, I mean, most of the characters in this film are unlikable besides the final girl. She's obviously the best thing about this movie. She is fucking batshit awesome. She fights off everybody. The ending's pretty funny. Do you remember the ending, Jeremy?
With the blender?
No, with the trap.
Oh, I haven't seen it since it came out.
On the door? And the cop? Oh, man.
I have to watch it again.
That shit.
Yeah, I don't remember anything.
That shit was pretty cool, man. But the way the whole ending of the film plays out is, it can be definitely hit and miss with some people. But the ride there is pretty fun. It's still enjoyable upon a rewatch. But, I don't know, man. Some of the decisions, some of the writing in the film's not really the greatest. There is cameos from Larry Fessenden in the film, who is actually one of the first victims in the film. And thinking upon that whole storyline, with Larry Fessenden is actually the neighbor of where this is actually taking place, doesn't actually make a lot of sense. Come to think of it, what goes on there. I'm trying to stay very spoiler free because this, I don't want to give away the kills and shit like that. But anyways, man, I do still enjoy this film. I'm coming in at 7.5 out of 10. It's enjoyable for what it is, but it's my rating actually came down on this one upon my rewatch. I will say, I think my original rating was 8.5 or something. But I don't know.
And your main problems was from bad character decisions and stuff like that.
Yeah,
right.
It is definitely one of those things where when you're watching the film, you're going, there's no plausible way that these characters would make those decisions. Nobody would ever run out the front door 2 minutes after one of your friends just took an arrow in the head, because you first of all, they had not established how many assailants were outside. They didn't know why they were being attacked. They didn't have any of this information.
You wouldn't try to get the fuck out of there?
No.
Boy, did I watch a movie that is very similar to this.
No,
to this
you wouldn't.
feelings.
But Jeremy, you wouldn't do that, because you would try to wait it out a little bit. Stay on the ground, wait it out, maybe try to figure out how many people there was before you started making rash and snap decisions like running out the front door. Like they showcase it. She takes half a step out there and gets a fucking arrow through the neck. Like she's dead. That's the end of her. She's done. I'm just like, what in the fuck? That makes no sense to do that.
Dude, listen, why
would you go upstairs not knowing?
The other night, and I have the same problems with Battle Royale. Why everybody fucking loves that movie so much? It's good. Give it an 8 out of 10. But everybody does shit that makes no sense in that movie.
Yeah.
Everybody.
And okay, we have this big ass house. They're not 100% sure that there's actual people in the house yet. But so why the fuck would you go upstairs? Like you're just
looking at my top 10 of 2013. I think it would be a lot different if I redid the list today.
Yeah, I mean
because I put that film at number 4.
Yeah, it's definitely still very, very entertaining, and definitely the whole thing that holds this, the glue of this film is our main final girl, like our main, empowered girl. She's awesome. She's the best thing about this movie. She's so fucking batshit awesome, and I love the way they develop her character, because she's like a foreign girl. She's very kind of light-hearted. She's very not shy or whatever. She's just kind of normal. but when shit starts going down in
I just looked at the 68 top 10 on the website and fucking where it says Jerry did not have enough to do a top 10.
That's the first time
that was there.
No, that's been on there for fucking years.
God.
It's funny.
But I still recommend it. But
it's very genuine.
Yeah,
that's funny.
All right.
Yeah.
Back to you, Jeremy.
All right. I guess I'll talk about my bestiality film from the year 1992, and it's called Revenge of Billy the Kid. Now, this came out 92, very influenced by The Evil Dead and films like the Peter Jackson films, Dead Alive and Brain Damage. That's the name of it, right? No Bad Taste, sorry. And Brain Damage is the UK type. No, Brain Dead is the fucking hell.
Are you talking about Peter Jackson movies?
Yeah.
Dead Alive?
It's Dead Alive is the US title, Brain Dead is the New Zealand title.
Okay, so I was close. Very similar to those films in the sense that it's very over the top acting style from our main characters. It's a lot of farting and burping jokes, and because they play like the hillbilly characters, and in most films they're very stereotypical. In this movie, we usually just see them as a secondary character, but in this movie they're our main characters, and we spend the entire film with them, and a lot of the time they're just farting and burping and being gross. And after a while, it does get old by the time that the film comes to an end. You know me, I'm all good for farting, burp, and shit jokes, but after like 80 minutes or so, it's like, okay, I've had enough of these characters, and I really just want the fucking movie to end. But we follow Old MacDonald, ha ha ha. He is a farmer who lives on this island in the UK with his wife and 2 boy kids and his daughter. And one day he gets the urge to fuck the goat because the goat isn't producing enough milk. So he gets this amazing idea that maybe if he fucks this goat, it will start to produce more milk. So he goes, he does his business, he fucks this goat, everything's all fine and dandy, until the goat gives birth to this human mutant thing that looks like they went to the set of Rawhead Rex and took some pieces of that monster and threw it together, and that's how they got this creature. And like I said in the beginning, it's very influenced by The Evil Dead, where we see a lot of those, the POV fast camera movements moving around this island and through the buildings and things like that. So it's very influenced by The Evil Dead, and as the film goes on, it turns into a splatter fest similar to The Evil Dead, as this goat monster starts picking off the farmers one by one in funny ways. And along the way, Old MacDonald's daughter has a mother-like connection with this goat monster, and she tries to talk to everybody to not kill it and things like that. It's a funny movie. It is funny, I have to say. It's a very unique style that I feel like is probably dead today. I highly doubt we would ever see a movie like this be made again, but it's fun. I had a good time with it up until a certain point, but after that, it just gets boring. The effects are good, so if you're into films like Dead Alive and Bad Taste and things like that, then you'll probably dig this one. It's out of print. It's pretty hard to find. I know it only has one UK edition, and that's pretty difficult to find, but luckily I was able to find a copy of this online. So if you like a goat human monster who came to life after a Old MacDonald farmer fucked a goat, then you'll probably like this movie. So I give it a 5.5.
Go.
Sounds funny. That was from 90 what?
92.
And it's called what?
The Revenge of Billy the Kid.
Yeah, I had heard of that one before, and it sounds nothing like the title, I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah.
So the next, how many are we doing?
2, right?
Like Billy the Kid, as in like Billy Goats? Yeah, okay.
I thought we were doing 2.
2 moods? 3, 2?
Yep.
2. Which one should I do? Alright, I guess I will do this film. 2007's In Inside. Interior. This film was given to me for Patreon because I'd never seen it from Mikey Fish. Thank you, Mikey Fish.
Fucking asshole.
Yeah, we were talking in the chat that we're part of, and they were talking about, you know, Inside. Some people were saying it was overrated and stuff. I was like, I can't comment on it. I've never seen it. And he was like, yeah, you need to see it. So it's one of the Fab Five, if you will. It's now I only have 2 more left that I haven't seen. And I was very curious. This is probably the one I was most curious on because back whenever this film came out, I remember it causing quite a big stir at Walmart. I swear to God, I can never find any evidence of this, but I swear to God, I read that this film was like pulled from Walmart shelves. And I can't find any articles or anything like that on it, but I swear to God, I remember this happening. So I don't know. I could be wrong, but I thought that it was. And this film, I remember being at a friend's house and their mom was watching it, and I didn't watch it, but so I knew I seen like pieces of it, you know, in the background. And so this film has forever eluded me. I was waiting to cover it on the podcast one day, but I guess I'll just cover it in a short review. This film follows a woman who is pregnant. She gets into a car wreck where her husband is killed, and she is hurt, but her baby survives, and it has to do with her right about to give birth on Christmas Eve, home alone, when an unknown assailant enters her house in hopes to take her unborn baby. And I'd known this plot. I thought the plot sounded sick and twisted and awesome. I had known about this film a lot. This film had a lot of hype to live up to, but I was trying to keep my expectations low regardless, because this was truly one of the most anticipated movies for me. We've talked about it so often. It's been talked about on the most influential films, and it's been talked about on the greatest horror films list. I think it made it. Did it make the greatest horror films list? I can't remember.
Sure. I think it was like in the top 100 through 90.
Yeah. So this film, I was super excited to see it. I watched it late last night, which I felt was the perfect timing for it. I actually fell asleep during it. There was a loud moment in the film. It woke me up, and I rewound the film and was wide awake.
So I guess it wasn't the perfect time now, was it?
No, it was. It was definitely the perfect time. Perfect time. Absolutely perfect, because it fit listen, the scene that woke me up is when the intruder enters, cuts her stomach, and then I was wide awake because I was like, "What the hell?" And then I rewound it, and that was actually perfect. That was the best thing that could possibly happen because it got me super scared. But so this movie is probably the hardest movie I've ever had to watch and debate with myself, because the violence and terror in this movie is truly second to none, I would say. There is a strong debate that this is one of the most violent, raw movies I'd ever seen and ever in existence. However, there are so many things in this film that I can't determine if they're forgivable. And there are so many characters that do literally the exact thing that they shouldn't do, or things that should be that are unexplained on why or how, or it is a confusing to watch movie in terms of character motivations, decisions. To try to stay slightly away from spoilers here, there's a lot of stuff that happens in this movie that leaves you scratching your head. One of the even early on, this girl begins to terrorize the pregnant woman, and there's a girl standing outside of the house, and she breaks the window, cracks it, and clearly very threatening. The girl knows information about the pregnant woman, and her name's Sarah. The pregnant woman's Sarah, and she calls the cops, rightfully so. That's what you do in that situation, right? The cops show up. Shouldn't be a huge deal. The person ran away. They're not out there anywhere. The woman, Sarah, actually is a photographer and took a picture of this woman, which is not a great picture, but you could clearly make out some detail in the woman's face. And the police say, this doesn't do us any good. They literally say that, and they leave the picture. And I'm like, it's still like I've seen gas station pictures from crappy security cameras that positively end up IDing a suspect. So I don't know how this semi-obstructed dark picture wouldn't be of any assistance to you fine police officers this night, but possibly I would think that might be something important. So the police leave. The girl ends up going to sleep. The woman breaks in, attacks her, literally cuts her stomach open while she's sleeping, slashes her face. She locks herself in a bathroom. And then there's a series of dumb fuckery events that happen over and over again from that point on. There's a moment where, you know, some of the most head scratching stuff comes in the final act. There's a situation in where the police show back up to the house. There's gunshots. There's a third police officer in a car with with another criminal from earlier that night who, for some reason, decides to tether this guy to him. It makes no sense. I don't really get it. And then he's so worried about this guy escaping if he leaves him in the car that he gives him a gun. So that also doesn't make sense. There's a ton of things in this film that make literally zero sense. It's unexplained at times. Like, I almost feel like it has to be supernatural at times. I don't know if it's hinted at. There's kind of a weird moment where somebody who should be dead is not dead, and then they do some shit that's kind of unexplainable. And then there's... let me ask you guys this. Am I off base in this, or is this a common problem with this film?
It's been a few years since I've seen it, to be honest.
What, thinking that there's supernatural elements to it?
No. There is 1,000 head-scratching moments of characters doing things that they shouldn't be doing or making bad decisions.
Yeah, or it's been a while since I've seen it too, but I remember definitely questioning certain things that were happening in the film for sure. Yeah. Like,
there's a scene, like, when the cop hears gunshots, he does not call backup. There's constant moments where he leaves the girl.
Doesn't that happen in every movie?
Not to this extent. He gives the girl a gun. The girl goes and lays down on the bed, sets the gun down, when clearly it's believed, because she says it out of her own mouth, that the girl is still in the house, the bad person, and she lets the gun down, kind of falls asleep. I understand that she's hurt and wounded and things like that, and she's in labor, but it's just little things like that don't really make a ton of sense. The police are, for some reason, worried about getting the power back on in the house after clearly somebody had shut the power off at the breaker box.
Now, is she...
for whatever reason... What's that?
I don't actually remember. Was she, at that point, actually in labor? Because...
Well, her water breaks when she first gets attacked. So I assume doesn't that mean you...
Yeah, for sure. It's been a while. But so after her water breaks, she has an interaction with the police.
Since you've been in labor?
Oh, dude, literally when she is first attacked and realizes that there's a woman trying to attack her, that's when her water breaks. So the entire movie goes on while her water has broken.
That's right. And the obvious thing to do once the police officer is called or contacted and shows up at the house and sees a pregnant woman with her water broken would be what?
She calls the police first, and then they leave again because there was like the girl left or whatever. The girl hasn't attacked her yet. The girl had only broken her entrance sliding glass door, and the woman then goes and falls asleep. She then gets attacked after the police left the first time.
Okay.
And that's when her water breaks. And then she deals with the girl. And there's a lot of moments in this film where the girl does not scream. Knowing other people are in the house, knowing there's police outside, because... And there's another scene where she comes down the stairs and she goes to go out the front door after she has hurt the woman that's attacking her. And she doesn't, for whatever reason. Like, she goes up to the door and it's like she pulls on it and it doesn't work. But I'm like, why does the door not open? It's unexplained. The door does. Yeah. There's no reason. She comes down the stairs. She's wounded still. She goes up to the front door where where the exit is. She tries to open it. It doesn't open, but it's never explained why it doesn't open. And that was like, stuff like this was killing me while I was watching it. I was like, this literally makes no sense. Why are these things not working? And that kind of led me to believe that maybe there's something supernatural going on. I don't know. It doesn't seem set up that way, besides one instance of somebody dying who you think is dead and they're not. But that could just be because they didn't die. It doesn't necessarily mean that they are supernatural.
Yeah.
So there's also scenes of which, like, these police are so focused on getting the power on. I don't know why. Why are they what does the power have to do with anything? Why is it a must-have thing to where they get this damn power on when you have to cross the front door to exit the house to get to the box with the power? Just go out the door. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, instead of going out the door, they go to put the power on. It just doesn't make sense to me. I don't get the thought process. These police are either I don't know how well the French police force is trained, but I hope this is not a good representation of their training, because it is solely insane how these people act out. But I will say this, that by this point in the film, I'm pissed. I'm like, there's so much good happening in here. It is bloody, it is violent, it is raw, it is nasty, it has some of the best blood I've seen in a long time. Why is this thing's happening? And then by the end of it, I forgave a lot of those things because of how almost beautiful the ending of this film is, in the most dark and twisted way possible. It is haunting. It is very, very well done by the end. Like, the just aesthetic, the visuals, the pictures, everything that happens, the blood, the way first of all, I was watching this film and I was like, oh, they're doing such a good job with blood continuity here, because there's blood everywhere. There's so many murders that happen in this film, and it's bloody, that I was like, these people are going to have a hard time keeping this continuity. Then I read after I watched it that this film was shot in sequence, which you pretty much have to do in a film like this, because the blood continuity is going to be so awful if you don't. And by the end of the movie, so much carnage has happened that I couldn't help but just love it, even with all of those problems. And there was a point in this movie where I was about to throw it in the goddamn trash because I was so frustrated. But the very subtle reference to the possibility of some supernatural stuff going on kind of helps a little bit. But this film has so many bad problems, but I can forgive some of them because of how fucked up this movie is, and just the battle that takes place here between this woman and this pregnant woman, this Sarah, and this unknown assailant is just brutal. And Sarah kills her own mother, spoiler alert. It happens kind of early in the film, and that's brutal. I fucking loved this movie and hated it at the same time. It was crazy, man. I think this movie is fantastic. I think it has a lot of problems. I'm willing to overlook some of them. I think that the violence and all the positive stuff is so strong that it overshadows the issues in the film. They're still there, and they should be accounted for. They're flaws in the film, but I like the other stuff so much in this movie that it overshadows those problems. Not all the way, but there's definitely a shadow on them. I came in at a 9 out of 10 on this one. I debated with it for a while. It's a very tough film to talk about because there are problems, but god damn, is it still like visceral and just it might be have some of my favorite sequences in horror.
The bathroom scene's brutal at the beginning.
All the bathroom scenes are brutal. Everything is brutal in this movie. There's a cat death in this movie. Yeah. There's a lot of brutality. It might be one of the most brutal films that I've seen. It's up there with Martyrs and stuff like Hostel and those type of movies. But the white floors and the way that the blood like crescendos across it, and there's a scene in the bathroom after so much has happened where the entire bathroom is covered in blood. And it doesn't look fake blood either. It just looks and because the bathroom's white too. It's an amazing movie, but goddamn, does it have some flaws?
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen it, man.
I think I haven't seen it since
it's been years and years.
2016.
When did Inside come out?
2007.
2000. Yeah, it's been a long time, man.
Yeah.
I love the ending of this movie too.
The ending's awesome.
Yeah.
It's
brutal.
it is straight up brutal. Almost to the point of mean-spirited.
It almost feels like it's about it, like the woman almost like transcends into a goddamn witch. It's
yeah.
Like, I don't know if that's intentional. It reminded me of The Witch melting in a way, like Wizard of Oz, like that type of stuff. It just, something about it was very interesting. I almost feel like it's supernatural at certain times. Like, I don't know.
I would have to rewatch it because I mean, I can positively say that I don't remember thinking supernatural while I was watching it, but you know, it just, who knows? What about you, Jeremy? Do you remember ever crossing your mind as being?
No, that's never even entered my mind.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, hearing
until
the supernatural element.
JP's like the first one who said that.
I've actually heard it before, and like I couldn't quite comment because I can't quite remember. It's been so long. I swear it's been like 10 years since I've seen the film. Probably not. I think it's been probably 7 years or something since I've seen it, but yeah, no, it's been too long. I need to check it out. I've been kind of.
I still think we should do the Fab Five show one day.
Well, that's the thing. I've been kind of putting it off because I figured, eventually we were going to end up doing that.
We did a feature-length Martyrs review, so it kind of crushed it a little bit. But at the same time, if enough time has passed between that review, we could tackle it again. Mm-hmm. It wasn't on this show, technically. You know what I mean? It was a spin-off show.
Yeah.
But these guys who made this film, I noticed that Among the Living has a lot of similar problems with shit that just doesn't make sense. So it could just be something that they do.
Uh-huh.
Among the Living has way more plot holes.
Dude, I don't know. Rewatch this movie. I think you'll be flabbergasted at the amount of retarded shit that
obviously the next time, if I do watch it again, I'll be watching it probably more with a critical eye too. I think back in those days, this was like pre-podcast. I think I was just watching films,
Is there a region 1 of Livid? Because I'm actually very, very curious on that one now because I haven't seen that.
I don't think so.
No, I've got 2 copies of one. One's actually a French edition, which doesn't have English subtitles. So that doesn't help. The UK edition of it.
All right,
but you can tell the style in the 3 films, though. Well, I guess they have 4 films, but yeah. So, yeah, man. Next up here, another Patreon pick here sent to me from our boy Michael Fisher. And it is called Phantom Racer from 2009. This is a Canadian sci-fi TV film. I was like, oh. So, kind of looked into that, and I was like, well, I pretty much know what to expect here. So, basically, it follows our main character. His name is J.J. Sawyer. And the story picks up, 17 years after the events of the backstory, which is JJ was once a race car driver, and he had this main rival the guy's name is Cutter. This one particular race day, they're racing, and an accident happens, and of course Cutter ends up dying. He ends up burning to death in his car. JJ, even though he was rivals with Cutter, he's feeling like he's got a lot of remorse. He's got a lot of survivor.
Sounds similar to that piece of shit I reviewed.
Yeah. It's been 17 years later, and the whole time he's never raced again. He's got survivor remorse and stuff. He felt bad for Cutter, even though they were main rivals and things like that. He's not completely out of the race car game. He is now on the team of that he used to race for. But he just drives the truck drives the big rig from town to town for the races and stuff. So of course, after one of the race days, he is driving to his next destination, where the truck actually breaks down in the small town where he's originally from. So he needs some help. he goes to the local mechanic shop there, and he comes across an old buddy of his, and one thing leads to another, and he learns that his buddy Cliff, I believe is what his name was, has actually been working on Cutter's old race car, restoring this thing. And of course, once he gets there, this race car comes alive, and it's out for revenge now because, obviously Cutter's ghost believes that, JJ was probably responsible for his death, and starts picking off people one by one. That's a storyline. Yes, it is a made-for-TV sci-fi film, so knowing that going into the film, I was expecting to have, no nudity, pretty much no gore, because it's rated TV 14 type thing. I don't know if this is like the DVD cut of the film, or the home media cut of the film, but there actually was a lot of gore in this film. I was quite surprised. It's ridiculous. It's like a road horror film about a possessed car who's out for revenge. There's some plot twists with characters and who their actual daddy is and things like that. All in all, man, it's pretty much what you expect. The acting is pretty much what you're going to get from a TV film. It's not the strongest. It's not the worst either. I've seen a lot worse acting wise. It's actually kind of entertaining though. Once the action picks up, there's just a lot of coincidental things that are happening. Like, JJ Sawyer is driving to his next destination, and he's going to be bypassing the town that he's come from. And like I said, he breaks down. He just breaks down right there. Are you fucking kidding me? Where a main reveal happens with Cliff, and he reveals something about that accident that, that fatal day 17 years prior, which kind of leads to the events of this car being possessed and things like that. So there's like, the narrative, the script writing, the story it's very by the numbers. It's just things like that. It's very easy filmmaking. It's also starring Nicole Eggert. She was, of course, from Baywatch and stuff. She still looks pretty damn good, I gotta say. In 2009, she's looking pretty fucking hot in this film. But my biggest surprise in this film was actually the kills. I was quite surprised by, decapitations and other cops that were just getting brutalized in this one and shit. It kind of made it for an entertaining watch, I won't lie, considering I was expecting absolutely nothing from it. Essentially, it's kind of run-of-the-mill, exactly what's going to happen in the end of the film, but I mean, it's a possessed car road horror type film. You can probably imagine that it's going to lead up to another head-to-head battle between JJ and Cutter, driving their respectable cars. Yes, it ends up going that way. Completely does. I mean, spoiler alert, but not, I guess. You can probably just imagine where this shit's going. But it was actually pretty entertaining. I've seen a lot worse. I'm going to come in about a 6.5 out of 10. There's not really a whole lot more to say about it, but the biggest surprise was the gore. I will say, I was like, damn, that's not too bad. So, not a bad one. I think, Mikey, he keeps finding these films for me that aren't too bad. He's a little bit.
I could say the same.
He's a little bit nicer to me than he is to you, man. I gotta say, because
to me too. He obviously gave me a really good one this week, but the indie ones like Drive Through and Baby Blues and those other ones that he's given me they're the Monster Man one. They're all solid. Mm-hmm. They're not great movies, but they're all entertaining shit that I would never watch. Yeah. Without having a reason to, or like it would be rare that it would come across my playlist.
Yep, I was a little bit surprised too, even with the car accident, like the actual accident, and the backstory that they show. I mean, it's the accident's a little bit CG and stuff, but it doesn't look as bad as you was expected to from a TV sci-fi film. It has a little bit better CG in there. There's not a whole lot of CG in the film, which is kind of good. The gore, the actual kills and stuff are straight up practical effects, which I'll add. But some of the ghostly effects in this though.
Ghostly? I haven't heard that one in
There's
a while.
a fucking scene where JJ looks into the Phantom car and then all of a sudden Cutter's ghost appears, and it's just beyond laughable. I burst out laughing. I was watching this one pretty late last night. I just bursted out laughing by myself. I'm like, there's the sci-fi in the movie right there. It's fun.
Man,
it's pretty fun stuff.
What a synonym that hasn't been said in a while.
Ghostly. It was just perfect though, because it was like this very translucent, transparent type. Oh, the effect was bad.
It's a dead term in the show history. Ghostly.
It's because we don't do the releases anymore, man. So, but yeah, Phantom Racer. I recommend it, man. If you like these type of movies, it's okay. It was okay.
22 shots.
What a tip.
Don't scratch it. Wait. That was the second album I ever bought.
It's 4 in the fucking morning.
It's Saturday.
No, it's not. It's fucking Sunday. And I've got to go to fucking work in 4 fucking hours because every other fucker in my fucking department is fucking ill. Now, can you see why I'm so fucking angry? Fuck yeah.
Hey, Pete, look, I'm sorry. We've had a couple of drinks. We split up with Liz tonight.
Oh yeah, getting into the featured reviews here on episode 134. I believe we did not even bring up the show in the intro at all. This is a fully Patreon-funded feature reviews, I guess you want to call them.
It was a combined effort.
Yeah, from Sam, Derek, and James Cowx. They decided to each pick... Yeah, they decided to each pick a film, of course, from the Three Flavors trilogy.
I guess it's... Why is it called that? I don't understand.
Because all three movies have a cornetto, which is apparently, like, we used to call them Nutty Buddies around here. I don't know what...
Nutty Buddies? What the fuck is that?
I've heard the term before. I mean, essentially, the three films have three different... They're all different. 3 different flavors.
But they all eat that ice cream that's called cornettos.
Oh, okay.
That is true. That is true. And it's also known as the Blood and Ice Cream trilogy. Kind of like that a lot better. That's
what we're actually calling the episode. Shout out to James Cowx for actually doing the very first thumbnail not produced by myself for this episode. He wanted to do it, so we gave him the opportunity. It turned out pretty good, as you guys see on the episode.
I only... I haven't seen it yet, but I don't...
sent it.
He sent it on the fucking page, dude.
Where?
On our chat.
Really? Oh, I didn't see it, but yeah, I don't know if I probably won't use that as the thumbnail for YouTube because I only use JP's.
Well, I'm not making one, so.
Well, I'll just make one myself. No, I'm just joking. But yeah, so if you're not familiar with the Three Flavors trilogy, aka Blood and Ice Cream trilogy, films are, that is, of course, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and The World's End. Yeah, all directed by Edgar Wright. Edgar Wright. I didn't even realize, but he's the guy that did Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
Yeah, Baby Driver.
Didn't even realize he directed that. I actually haven't seen the movie yet.
His first movie has never had a release, but I've seen it before. It's a weird Western. Simon Pegg's actually in it. It's like a weird Western film. I wish it would get a release. It's a strange movie.
Is it is it A Fistful of Fingers?
Is that it?
Yeah, well, Fistful of Fingers, comedy Western. So it's kind of a take on Fistful of Dollars, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's interesting.
These 3 films here, the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy, aka Blood and Ice Cream trilogy, I was not looking forward to these simply because I know that they're not horror films, but I actually didn't know anything about Hot Fuzz and The World's End, and I was actually very surprised to see that they all have like dark, like something trying to kill you atmosphere. So like they're not that far out of horror, really. It's pretty interesting. I had no idea. I thought Hot Fuzz was a pure like buddy cop comedy or something. No, but it's like a damn slasher.
The last third act is fucking crazy, dude. It's like it's totally.
Yeah, I was very surprised. I had no idea. So these actually fit with the show more than I thought they would, because
all three films basically are kind of the same. You know, they have the same construction to them. I mean, in a sense, right? I mean, they're all being kind of hunted and, you know, shit like that. But I mean, they're the same but different.
Yeah.
Different narratives, but they're kind of the same structure. You can definitely tell all 3 of these films are directed. I don't know if Edgar Wright edits his films, but they're all definitely have the same feel, and they're all edited the exact same.
There's a long take in every film.
There's so much similarities in all three of these films. It's crazy.
Signature long take.
Yes, long takes, movies. But one thing you notice that's very prevalent in all three of these films is the way the editing is, that really kind of fast-paced. Mm-hmm. It's almost like a setup to a joke. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what the particular name is for that type of editing style, but it's definitely used in all three films.
The Jigsaw editing style?
No, but he said the editing it's almost like a character in itself. It's almost like a prelude to the joke sometimes in all three of these films. It's like that really fast pace, and then it kind of sets up the joke, and it's very prevalent. Like, you can tell he's got his own type of style of film.
Oh, these films feel very similar.
Yeah. Very, very similar. But yeah, first up here from 2004, the infamous Shaun of the Dead.
Oh boy.
Synopsis.
Which also is a film that me and Moodz are both on record saying is one of the most overrated horror films of all time.
Now,
do our feelings stay the same?
Yes, will our feelings still stay this? I haven't seen this one in a while. You know, it had been a while. So, you know, as we know, our flavors and our tastes do change. Opinions, sometimes.
Yeah.
But
sometimes
anyways.
you might like strawberry ice cream. Sometimes you might like hot fuzz flavored ice cream.
A man decides to turn his moribund life around by winning back his ex-girlfriend, reconciling his relationship with his mother, and dealing with an entire community that has returned from the dead to eat the living. Yeah. That's Shaun of the Dead, essentially.
Hello, Barbara. That was my favorite part.
I know, right? Of course, they have to have the Night of
Barbara.
They have to have the Night of the Living Dead reference.
I didn't wonder is why did they not spell Shaun with a W instead of the U?
Who gives a shit?
I'm just saying it would have played on. Well, first of all, I hate when Shaun. I hate the version of Shaun that's like SEAN as well. But I'm just saying it would have played on Dawn of the Dead better.
You know, it's funny because I've thought the exact same thing, JP. It makes a lot more sense to spell Shaun with a W, considering what you're parodying, in a sense. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, man, Shaun of the Dead, probably the most infamous Zomcom out there. Everything is compared to Shaun of the Dead. It's kind of like the staple, it's the high point of Zomcoms. Well, apparently according to the critics, you know, because you see this on every film that followed after. So this is the film.
Greatest horror zombie comedy since Shaun of the Dead.
Every fucking movie after this for years. And you still
But are you butthurt simply because of that, Moodz?
No.
Do you think that contributes to maybe why you don't like the movie so much? Because everybody was like...
No, I'll explain why I don't like the movie.
Okay.
That has nothing to do with it. I mean, but it does get a little bit old. You know, when you see a new Zomcom come out and it's like, oh yeah, this is the best one since Shaun. I mean, that does get a little bit irritating. It's so stupid to set the standard. I hate when standards are set and it's just like...
Yeah, but it's not like there was any other film that was coming out at the time that would be able to be like, to overtake that film. But it's not like there was a shitload of zombie comedies coming out.
But 14 years later, it's still like the best one since Shaun of the Dead. Are you fucking kidding me? It's like, but you know, it gets a little.
What are they going to put the best movie since Cockney versus Zombies?
Why not?
When you're talking about zombie comedies, every film that is trying to say the best sense should say Return of the Living Dead.
There you go.
But no, so let me just give my backstory. I've never said that Shaun of the Dead is a bad movie. I've never said that. I said I didn't really like it, and I think that it gets more praise than it deserves. I have reviewed this film in the past, like a long time ago, on YouTube, and I gave it a 7 out of 10 then. So even then, I didn't hate the movie. I just thought that it was... Honestly, my biggest critique is that I didn't find it funny.
There's some parts I find funny. Like the part when they're beating that guy over with the fucking pool cubes. That makes me laugh every time. I've seen it a few times now. And
or
the scene...
pool cubes, similar to...
Cubes. Pool cues. Thank you, JP. I really appreciate it.
Thinking the same thing.
Still understand what the fuck. Make fun of the Jewish kid who gets no pussy.
You're just doing it to yourself right now, man.
Yeah.
That scene and when they're throwing the records at the fucking zombies at the beginning. Those are two.
Okay.
I don't know.
So okay. So I am exactly with JP on this. I've always said that Shaun of the Dead is not a bad movie. I just didn't like it. And I know why. Because I don't find it fucking funny. The problem is, with a comedy horror film, it's first and foremost a comedy. And what is comedy supposed to do? Make you laugh. That's how it's enjoyable. That's how I'm going to like the film.
Isn't comedy a subjective genre?
It is, but that's my point. I'm talking.
Yeah,
I didn't say the movie's
comedy,
not. I said it's not funny to me.
Especially though, because everybody finds a different thing funny.
Exactly.
So
and
I think it's a different kind of a genre when you.
That's
say
why
that.
comedy is the hardest, genre to do, in my opinion, because you're never going to please everybody, right? Everybody has, like, you take all three of us. We all have all different. We like different things about comedy, right? Mm-hmm. One thing that makes me laugh might not make JP laugh, and it goes around in circles. All three of us have different tastes in comedy, for sure. And I've come to the realization that the biggest problem for me is the comedy in this film in particular is very dry to me. It's very dry. I don't know. And I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with British comedy. It's very, very hit and miss with me. It's been hit and miss with me forever. I used to like, some British stuff back in the day, but I do find the comedy a very acquired taste, and it's not particularly.
Well, then you won't like Revenge of Billy the Kid.
It's not particularly for me. I understand the jokes, I get it, and I understand what they're trying to do a lot of the time, but it's just not funny. Like, I mean, and it's also, there's a disconnect too with some of the terminology and shit. Like, there's a point in the film where Simon Pegg's character, Shaun, he has like an ink stain on his shirt, and they keep calling it, you got a little bit of red there. They're calling it a red stain and shit. I'm like, just fucking say ink. It's fucking from a pen. It's shit like that, man.
You got something red.
They say you got red on your shirt.
You got red. You got
something red.
Yeah,
but you got red on you.
Yeah, it's like you got ink, but everybody knows what that's from.
But I feel like that's what those characters would say, like, because they're not
the
smartest characters. Even his mom, you could tell, isn't this smart.
I just think it's the way that British people say you have something on you. It's just
exactly. But it's not just
like we don't get. I'm gonna phone you.
Oh my god!
Or grade 8.
Oh my god! They said that on Roseanne the other fucking. Anyways,
but they said phoning
context.
in, different context.
Well, not really.
Jeremy phones in his performance on the show. Different than actually making a phone call.
I'm gonna phone you.
Whatever, if you want to. If you think it's different.
But no, okay, so.
But anyways, I mean, that's one part of it. I mean, when a comedy is, when you have a film like this, it's meant to be funny. If you don't find it particularly funny, it's not really going to work for myself. I don't find this movie to be a bad movie whatsoever. It's definitely filmed well. It's acted well. I think the comedic approach is on point for the people that find this type of comedy funny. It's definitely going to be a great, it's going to be a better film. I
think like all three of these are like that, though.
Honestly, dude, okay, Simon Pegg, his characters in these films, like, he plays 3 totally different type of characters, right? Mm-hmm. And in this one,
I think his characters out here. His characters in Shaun of the Dead and The World's End are more similar than what
they're completely
different. This movie, he's kind of like a normal dude. He's a
normal guy in this movie.
Yeah, he's kind of like a normal, kind of nerdy, normal dude. He's very he doesn't stick out at all, is what his type of character is. In the second film, he's straight edge to the point where it's annoying, right? He's that character that, he's that guy that's going to do everything by the book.
But isn't everybody
in the third film, he's a complete slacker
he's a slacker asshole. He fucking hustles his friends, and he's funny in that movie because he's kind of a dick, but he's funny. But
he's my least favorite out of the 3 in that movie.
But anyways, this movie right here obviously is a take on Dawn of the Dead, right?
Yeah.
I think one of the other issues I have with this movie too is just the storyline. I wish they had have gotten to the Winchester a lot faster in this film, and I know I've said this before, and I still truly believe that. I think the whole narrative leading up to them getting there is kind of lame. I mean, Shaun is a pussy. He gets dumped by his girlfriend, and he decides, hey, man, there's a zombie apocalypse right now, so I'm going to truck my way across fucking London while there's a zombie apocalypse. At this point, they know what's going on. To go and save his girlfriend that just dumped his ass. At this point, wouldn't you be like, I don't give a fuck about you. I'm going to save myself right now. Fuck, really? This is what's on your mind? You're going to save the girlfriend that just dumped you on your ass because you're a fucking loser. I understand his mentality. Hey, if I go save my girlfriend, I'll get her back type thing. But you're jeopardizing your life. It's fucking stupid. And I honestly think that the whole journey and everything that happens in between is too long before they get to Winchester. I think the best stuff in this movie is the stuff that happens at the bar. I think that's kind of entertaining and stuff.
Okay, so I will say that I like this movie more this time watching it than I had previously. I'm still not super high on it, but I think that I liked certain aspects about this film this time than I did the other times. And one of them is like the bromance between Shaun and the character of Ed, Nick Frost's character. I think Nick Frost steals the show in this particular film. I think I don't really like Shaun. I didn't really like Simon Pegg, honestly, before I watched these three films.
I still don't. He's still not my favorite, to be honest with you.
But Nick Frost is really funny.
You should see
really
Into the Badlands. He's fucking awesome in that show.
Yeah, I've seen him in Attack the Block, and he's good in that as well.
I've literally only ever seen Simon Pegg in these three movies. That's all I have to go on.
I'm talking about Nick Frost. I'm not talking about.
Oh, maybe even Nick Frost. I don't think I've ever seen him in anything else except for.
You've never seen Attack the Block?
Oh yeah, he is. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I've seen Attack the Block. Okay.
Watch Enter the Badlands.
That's right. I forgot about that.
But I kind of really enjoyed that aspect of this film this time. I like these two characters together. Not even these two characters, these two actors together, because they do it again and again.
I think that's have major chemistry,
and of course
they really do.
Yeah,
and I think when you have any duos, like Cheech and Chong or
I just think like when you see one, you instantly think of the other. Even though you'll be watching Star Trek and fucking Simon Pegg's there and be like, where's Nick Frost? I want to see fucking Nick Frost.
Out of the three films, their relationship, they're similar in characters in this one, where the other two films, they're like polar opposites.
Yeah.
I think this is probably the most similar they are, especially in The World's End. Like, they are so fucking polar opposite in that film. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, but, it's funny when you look at Ed's character in this one, Nick Frost, and then you look at him in The World's End, completely different portrayals of a character, which is cool because it shows his range as an actor. They both kind of do that.
Well, Simon Pegg, I find they're all three characters are so different. And Ed, of course, and Nick Frost's characters are all different too. That's one thing I particularly liked about these films, is that even though they're very similar in construction and feel and look and style and everything, the characters are so different. They still managed to pull off three separate films. It's kind of cool. I think it was pretty interesting.
So I think with all three of these movies, we should say what our favorite gag was. So, JP, what was your favorite gag?
In this movie?
Yeah.
I think my favorite gag is when you see the beginning of the film and Shaun kind of meanders through life. And he walks over to his, convenience store, and he trips over that thing walking up onto the sidewalk, and he basically gets to his job, and then he does the exact same thing during the zombie apocalypse, and it just showcases like routine and doing the same thing over and over again and being oblivious to the world. And I think that was a really good gag, because not only is it kind of funny because there's all these zombies in the background and stuff like that, but he just doesn't notice them. It also is a commentary on how your day-to-day lives can become mundane and predictable.
It's the best shot in the movie for sure.
Oh yeah,
it's all one take, and it's really impressive how long that shot is. It's really cool, man. It's pretty damn cool. I think I have two. Oddly enough, I have two. I think where Shaun fails to get his reservation at Fulci's, the restaurant Fulci. Obviously, Lucio Fulci, which is really cool because Fulci's my
I didn't
favorite.
even notice that.
Yeah, so Fulci's my favorite director, so that's a huge shout out to him. And then my second one here is when they're partying it up. I think this is after Shaun gets dumped by his girlfriend, and of course him and Ed are partying it up, and they're listening to their hip hop music, but they're listening to Man Parish, and the roommate just comes in fucking freaking out. But I love that bit because I absolutely love that song, the hip hop bebop song. So that was kind of cool for me. I could relate to that, and maybe
it's interesting that. Sorry, go ahead.
Just the Fulci in that part. Those were two things that I had noticed before, but completely had forgotten. Which kind of I was like, that's pretty cool. That's cool. So,
what about you, Jeremy?
Oh, when they're throwing the records and they're fucking commentating on all the albums before they throw them.
No, that's an original.
I don't like that.
No, that's an original.
Oh, it's just funny, but he's like, oh, that's a good soundtrack, and then he fucking throws it. It's just funny. Although that was a first pressing.
I know that it's a comedy, but sometimes I have trouble with like the threat becoming the joke in movies, and I think that's why I didn't necessarily love that, because it's kind of like the zombie isn't a threat anymore. It's part of the joke a little bit, and I know it's a comedy. This is more of a comedy than most horror comedies. Right? It's a comedy horror.
I mean, me personally, I don't find a lot of the comedy in the film to be overly, I don't know, for lack of a better term, smart. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't find it to be. It's not that like lame shit either. It's not overly smart though. It's kind of like this average comedy to me, and I think that's why if I'm not laughing out loud, I'm not really having that great of a time with it. There is one clever moment in the film, and it's like actually right in the end of the film. It's actually when Shaun is watching TV, and of course we're not given a reason for the zombie apocalypse. Mm-hmm. And then there's a scene at the end of the film where he's actually watching the TV, and they're about to tell you what caused the apocalypse, and then he switches the channel. I love that. That was fucking awesome. Just you don't need to tell the viewer what's happening, but we're gonna poke at it though. I thought that was fucking clever. I thought that was super clever.
It's that scene, and the other scene is when they're in the Jag and they're all trapped, and the camera's pointed at Simon Pegg's character, and then it
spit it out.
It pans, and then you see his stepfather, and they all fucking panic, and they're trying to get out of the car, and the child locks around. It's probably
that's a good scene.
It's funny scene.
Yeah, I actually am.
He's not my dad.
Of Moodz on this one, where I actually like all the lead up more than actually the end. I kind of get bored by the time they get to the Winchester.
Yeah, see, for me, I guess I'm half bored until they get there. I don't know, man. I guess I kind of like things that are set in bars. I guess I don't know what it is, man. I just always wish that more of it took place in there. Kind of like Feast, where they're stuck in like a pub or a bar or some shit, and that's got some really fucking funny gags, like the part in the part in Feast where the dude's like he's totally set up to be the hero and then he dies 2 seconds later. That's some funny ass.
I would love to cover those films one day too. I think this is fun.
Even every time I think about this, that's funny to me, man.
But yeah, I mean, I don't have a ton to say on this film, really.
Well, I mean,
also I should throw this out there. I watched these movies like 2 weeks ago, because
2.5 weeks for me.
Last week, so they're not the freshest in my memory. Shaun of the Dead I've seen a couple times, so I can talk about that one a little bit better than maybe the next two. Just throwing that out there that the quality might not be as good, but I was not rewatching all three of these.
Okay, here's an example of something that I thought was kind of lame too. Is when they're on their journey, they've managed to get the girlfriend and a couple other people tagging along.
That's
and shit
the worst
like that.
scene in the movie.
Yeah, and then
when they all pass each other in the backyard.
Yeah, that's not like a Scooby-Doo moment.
That's like
sucks.
That's like one of those Seinfeld, but it's obviously the Seinfeld Bizarro World episode is way better. But that kind of reminded me of that though. It's like they see the mirror images
a million times.
The Scooby-Doo, the fucking Bizarro images of yourself. I'm like, It's like cringeworthy.
How many cartoons,
it's cringeworthy to me.
Have you seen in that context? I've seen that type of scene so many damn times.
Oh, I know. It's cringeworthy. You know, it's been done to death so many times, and it wasn't even done well. Like there was nothing really even remotely funny about that scene. Like it kind of went on too long. Mm-hmm. There was some staring going on. I'm just like, what the fuck?
Yeah, because there was a break every time they passed each other, so it's just like...
I know. I don't know, man. See, I like little things where Shaun's mom's name is Barbara, the Fulci thing. I like little things like that. You know, that's
because
cool.
there's that we're coming to get you, Barbara, or something like that.
Yeah.
Did you catch that? Nick Frost's character says, "We're coming to get you, Barbara." I love that stuff.
On the phone when he's like, "No, I don't think you should come," and then he takes the phone away from him.
I just honestly feel at times in this film they're just kind of phoning it in. They're just kind of calling in the comedy a little bit. It's like there's this one part, and I don't know. I remember watching this movie for the first time and being like, "What? Like, why did he just say that?" When fucking Ed pulls up in the car and he's like, "Yo, what's up, niggas?"
Does he say that?
Really? Like, even I had completely kind of forgotten about this, and then I was watching the film, and then he's like, "Yo, what's up, niggas?" And I'm like, is that supposed to be funny? I'm like, that's not fucking funny at all. It doesn't, it's like in the context, it makes no sense whatsoever. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it just makes him seem like a fake.
It does.
It's yeah, but doesn't he feel like that though?
I don't know, man.
Doesn't
but
he feel like that kind
it's
of
also
character?
who he's talking to, and like, you know, it's like Shaun's mom's there. He's calling her a nigga. Like, what? I don't know, man. I find that whole scene to be just very oddly placed, and I don't get it.
You should have said, "What's up, Saggins?"
Yeah, man. See, that's funny. You know, you gotta throw it like, I don't know, man. Because there's nothing shocking about the film. They're never trying to cross that bridge of being shocking and, you know, doing shock value shit and stuff. And you're just gonna throw N-bombs out there in an all-white cast. What?
Yeah, it just seems like you're right. It 100%. I totally forgot about it. But yeah, out of place as fuck.
Yeah, dude.
But yeah, do you guys want to get into ratings on this one?
Yeah, you know,
Did you love the Dawn of the? I forgot the Dawn of the Dead of the. Oh my God, Dawn of the Dead kill reference at the end in the bar. The nerdy guy getting pulled apart. It's totally Tom Savini.
That's Day of the Dead, bud.
Oh, yeah, Day of the Dead.
Yeah, it's Day of the Dead. That's cool.
All right,
that's cool.
I'll go first on this one. I liked it more than I ever had in the past. I still don't love it. And really, it comes down to I don't find British humor that funny. That's really what it is. It doesn't. It's obviously a different community. It's like different culture with what they find funny versus, you know, something that's classically funny in America. Each territory kind of has their own sense of humor, and British things are not funny usually to me, but I still did find some things funny, and I pretty much really loved the camaraderie between the characters this time through, which definitely helped the movie for me. So I'm actually going to bump my rating a half a point and give it a 7.5 out of 10.
Jeremy.
8 out of 10.
Yeah, I figured I'd probably be the lowest on this one. Again, comedies are supposed to make me laugh. This one really doesn't. It's got some pretty cool nods and shout-outs and stuff like that. There is a little bit of cleverness. I really just... I can't stand the journey in this film. And what it really comes down to... I'm with JP. I'm just not... I guess I'm just not a big British humor fan. I mean, I used to like Monty Python stuff. I don't anymore. Like, I watched Monty Python, I think, a couple years ago. A couple of films and The Holy Grail and shit. I was like... I just wasn't doing it for me anymore.
I don't like those movies either.
And I guess I just grew out of it. I find the comedy to be so simple and stuff. I don't need that shocking, you know, vulgar type shit all the time. But it's just not for me. You know, I don't think it's a horrible film or anything. I don't think it's that exciting though, either. And there's a little bit of silliness. Jeremy, see what you found funny with the records and stuff? I found it kind of a little bit cringeworthy, you know, at that point, and kind of hurtful that they were they were breaking records. It hurts.
The Batman soundtrack.
It's like you're wrecking vinyl, man. Yeah, man. I'm sticking with my thoughts on this one. I do find this movie to be overrated. I'm not gonna lie. It's definitely overrated. I think there's a lot funnier zomcoms that came after this, and I still think they put out better ones than this one.
There's ones better that came before it too.
And before it, yes, Return of the Living Dead. Fuck you, Zach. It's amazing. But I am going to stick with my original rating, which is 6.5 out of 10. That was what I originally gave it, and you know, I don't hate this movie by any means. It's just not funny.
It just annoys me.
That's the problem.
People talk about it as like, you know, top 3 greatest of all time zombie comedies, and not only that, top 5 greatest zombie films of all time too. I hear that a lot, you know, in there, and it blows my mind, and that's why I've always kind of had a little dislike for the movie in general.
What zomcoms are these people watching that this is in the top 3, and what zombie films are they watching that it's in the top 3?
Warm Bodies.
I guess if you saw Warm Bodies twice, fuck, man.
Bet Andrew Schroeder gives that a 10 out of 10.
I don't know. Do they even like these movies? I don't know.
That just seems like a movie he would like.
But I don't know, man. There's a lot better zombie film. I just don't understand the appeal, I guess. But yeah, Shaun of the Dead from 2004.
Why do we need the dog?
It's not the dog we need.
I ain't Charlie down. I couldn't see the view tomorrow. Was he Mombo?
Right. What did he say?
Said as his edge, huh? He only chopped him down because he couldn't see the view no more. What's he moaning about?
What did he say?
He said an edge is an edge. He only chopped it down because it spoiled his view. What's Reaper moaning about?
Right. Look, I appreciate your position, Mr. Webley, but you can't go around chopping down other people's hedges without permission.
I suppose.
I suppose.
Yes, I suppose. Thank you.
All right.
Moving along here. Into 2007. Also directed by Edgar Wright, which we've mentioned before. He directed all 3 of these films. I don't need to be repetitive. With Hot Fuzz. Yes. Quick little synopsis. A skilled London police officer is transferred to a small town that's harboring a dark secret. Yep. Ratings?
9 out of 10.
So, Hot Fuzz. Yeah, man. So, you know, we get same cast here. Edgar Wright, Simon Pegg, or not Edgar Wright. We got fucking, what's his name? Nick Frost. I don't know why I always call him Edgar Wright. It's funny. You know, completely different roles, man. Simon Pegg is this straight-edged. He's actually so fucking straight-edged as a police officer that in London, his superior officers actually demote him because he's making them look bad. Yeah. The storyline is actually kind of fucking funny. Simon Pegg is such a damn good cop. He makes everyone look so bad. He gets demoted to this small ass town to be a police officer. Yeah. And so when he gets there, shit seems pretty normal in the town, maybe a little quirky and odd. But then bodies start mounting up, and now he has to really kind of put the pieces together to figure out what in the fuck is going on in this small-ass town. This is such a better film.
The film is kind of shot eerie when he gets to that town and stuff, too, which I like. Surprisingly, this one is my favorite one. And this is the one I was interested in the least. Because I literally thought, like, first of all, Hot Fuzz just sounds dumb to me. The title of the film, and I remember seeing trailers, and I always remembered the part where they're jumping over the fences, and Nick Frost's character just
that
goes
shows up in
fence.
every film too.
Yeah, a little bit, but
no, it does. Shaun of the Dead. Nick Frost, and I mean Simon Pegg jumps over the fence. This film, Nick Frost goes through the fence.
You know what it does actually? It totally does.
and Simon Pegg goes through the fence in the next one.
That's right.
I didn't. I thought you meant in other felt like it's something.
In all
that
three
a lot
of these.
films-
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
Yeah. Okay, but I this one, the cover, like this film looked marketed to me like a pure like just buddy cop action comedy, and it's not like that at all. Really, like it's kind of darker.
Murder mystery.
Yeah, it's a murder mystery, and I was so surprised by this one. First of all,
it's kind of a giallo in a sense.
It is. I actually like this one from the very first scene when Simon Pegg is listing off all of the, youngest cadet graduate, all this stuff, these accomplishments that he did. And I liked how serious his character was. I thought it was funny. And I like this one. This is definitely the best one to me.
I love this movie since I saw it in theater.
And Jeremy called it. He said it was the best one. And I was like, I
didn't call it. I just seen all of them in the theaters, and this was the best one.
No, I'm saying you said that it was in the chat, and then I was like unsure.
My butthurt would have been hurt if you didn't like this movie.
Yeah.
It would have hurt really bad. So I've always been a fan of this film. It's such a fun movie, and especially the third act. Same thing with Shaun. It seems like the third act in all these movies are the best part of the film, but definitely in this movie, the third act, when the townspeople start going crazy, is a fucking blast, man. It's so goddamn fucking
fun. And there's some good sequences with death too, man, with people dying. It's pretty fucking gory. It's surprisingly
when the fucking pillar falls on a dude's head.
Dude, that's what I'm
fucking brutal.
The pillar scene is so. I just love the way they react to it.
They're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean that's an accident.
It's just another accident. Somebody's fucking head gets cut off in the car. Oh, it's just an accident.
See, that shit was funny to me, man. How everybody was pretty much brainwashed and just convinced that everything that happens there is, it's just fact of life.
She fell on her shears. It's an accident.
It's an accident. This shit was fucking funny to me, man. Oh man, I hadn't seen this movie in years, and it's still it really held up to me, man. It was funny as hell. It's funny as I love the writing in this film is really good though. Just how he kind of pieces everything together, and I don't know, man. It's so much more entertaining, even for a 2-hour film. It's still it kind of holds its pace, man. It really does. Yeah. It's surprising, and there's funny shit in this film, like when Simon Pegg's character is named Nicholas Angel, and there's this sequence where he makes the papers and they spelled his name wrong, and they spelled it Angle, and everyone's calling him Angle, and I don't know, I was fucking
which
dying.
Is funny. I remember I had a girl named Angel work for me in the first day that she worked. When I first put her on the schedule, I spelled her name as Angle.
Well, of course you did. But it's just shit like that. It was making me laugh. But a lot of the supporting characters, the other officers and shit, they play those brainwashed fucking morons so perfectly. It's not it's not over the top. It still allows itself to be kind of clever.
Problems.
Yeah,
the gold guy showed up again.
What I like about it,
I like the small town feel where that's the biggest damn problem.
And then when he fucking shows up at the end, and he's in the same fucking pain, and his facial expression is the same, but he's fucking in the well with all the dead bodies. It's so funny.
Isn't this scene where I think they're at the graveyard or whatever with the small city? That shit trips me the fuck out. I remember when I first watched this film, I was like, what the fuck? They're all of a sudden huge. Oh no, it's just like a little model city. That shit fucked me up again. I was watching, I was like, damn, that's trippy, because it looks so good. They built this model city, and they're fucking having this fight in there. I don't know. It's just very, very odd moment in the film, but it's
favorite gag. I know mine right away.
I don't know, man. I like a lot of the references when they're watching Point Break and fucking Bad Boys and shit, and
he's fucking shooting his gun in the air.
Yeah, dude. I thought that scene was really funny.
The scene when he falls on the spike is hands down the funniest scene in the movie.
That one's good too.
I think so. Yeah,
it's the best moment in the film. And then when he's fucking in the police car and it's still through his fucking mouth, oh, it's so fucking funny. Kills me every time I see it.
I did like the pillar thing too. The pillar thing was really funny too.
Oh my god!
That whole the actual death was funny, but the whole sequence after is really funny too. It's good. It's good.
It was another thing that was funny was when he pulls that dude over for speeding.
Mm-hmm.
and he's like, what the hell does he do?
We wanted to see what the accident was.
Yeah. And then what else is really funny in this one? There's actually a lot of stuff that's funny, but I'm having trouble thinking of it because I watched it so long ago. But
I like when they pick up the Chuck Norris Silent Rage DVD and the fucking and the Super Cop DVD.
I like when they're sitting. Doesn't that just remind you of like a small ass town that like that's their only source of media is like movies that are like,
gas
old
station.
as hell.
I totally 100%, man. So it's just like all these cop films. It's just so fucking funny to me, man. It's good. Yeah.
I just love the fact he doesn't kill the people; he just fucks them up.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, for a murder mystery, and
it's a pretty good mystery.
Being a comedy, like it's not taking itself serious, but it's still taking itself serious enough to create a actual mystery. That's what I find enjoyable about this film. It's not like slapsticky. It's not ridiculous. It actually has you thinking and laughing at the same time. And I think that type of writing is actually kind of hard to do. Right? Mm-hmm. To keep you interested for 2 hours in a mystery and not actually figure it out. That's impressive to me, man. I give this film a lot of props.
Yeah,
Filled
I
with
love
fun
I
characters.
love the mystery aspect of the film.
I just love it
The
because
Giallo reference is interesting. I didn't think about it until you said it.
But yeah.
No, it definitely kind of is.
It's a Giallo.
I think that,
especially because the murders are kind of brutal too,
Uh-huh.
Fucking shit. But actually, the bit where he's trying to explain to the superior officer that it wasn't an accident because he actually was in the flower place when she got killed, and he actually chased the assailant. They're like, no, it could be an accident. He's like, no, I was running after him. It's so fucking
but
funny.
She slipped.
But she slipped, and it wasn't. It could be
fell
an
out
accident.
her shears.
Fuck, is that ever funny, man? It's so stupid. But funny. Funny.
Yeah, it's a good move.
Yeah, it is, man. It's probably the best film out of the three here, for sure.
I think it definitely is.
Oh, yeah.
I think that this film has a great mystery element. The jokes hit. They do. I can't think of like it being really like dry. It seems like a little more wet humor to me. And the aspect of just the character differences, and the characters are very well written. Like Simon Pegg's character is really well thought out, and it's even at the beginning where they're first trying to transfer him, and he's like saying no, and they're like, do you want us to call the upper level or whatever, all that stuff's really funny because he's like very serious.
He was already called.
The dude was just right there.
Yeah, he was already called.
I know, man. That whole sequence is funny as hell.
And it's his fucking stepfather.
Yeah, and
yeah,
it is.
That's so funny. It's fucking good shit, man.
The mystery aspect, the wrap up, like everything, the gore, the amount of violence in this film, definitely very solid.
I just like small little subtle jokes like
I just like the end when they're in the fucking grocery store and they're fucking fighting the guys behind the deli counter, and there's like they literally like shoot like 800 rounds and nobody gets fucking hit. It's just like a 4-minute sequence of them just fucking going after these guys behind the counter.
Oh yeah, they're totally making fun of like just typical 80s
long
action
shootouts.
films. Yeah, not reloading and not hitting anybody.
Yeah.
I just like subtle things like when they're at the police station and one of the officers is like, oh, it's 11:30, it's lunchtime. It's just so matter of fact, right? Like they take their lunch at 11:30. They're fucking cops, man. Like, what the fuck is that?
The female cop who they all like say derogatory things about, but it's like totally acceptable.
Yeah, it's an officer.
Yeah.
He's an officer too.
Exactly. So funny. Fuck. Movie's funny, man. It's good shit. I don't know. You guys want to get into ratings?
I already know mine.
Oh, that actually was your rating? Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. 9 out of 10.
All right. Yeah, man. I thought JP was going to go, but yeah, man, this is such a fun film. I forgot how much fun this shit was. It's dark, but it's like, it's not to the point where it's like, oh, you know, kind of cringeworthy darkness. It's good mystery, man. It's a really, really well done film with lots of fucking fun characters, man. It's not just the leads in this one that are fun. It's like everybody is a fun character. That's what really separates this one from the other film. I think the other, Shaun of the Dead, the supporting characters are so fucking lame in that movie. Like Four Eyes,
like Shaun's girlfriend, and like the comedy with his dad's okay, but like the rest of the characters are kind of weak. Besides the two,
Four Eyes, who's obviously in love with his girlfriend and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck, and the other chick that's just like there. I don't know, man. It's like so lame, super lame characters. But this one has none of that. Like all the supporting characters in this film are fun. You know, they say say funny shit all the time and. Just quirky, man. It's really good. I'm with Jeremy, 9 out of 10. This it's a fucking blast.
Yeah, I really enjoy this one as well. I was super surprised. This one was definitely my favorite of the bunch. Spoiler alert on the third film, but I just think that even though I can't say like a ton about it, I feel like this film is a little hard to review, as well as just it's loose in my memory.
It's like reviewing a giallo. It's like watching. Yeah. It's like reviewing a giallo because you don't want to give all the fine details away, because if you haven't seen it, you're fucking essentially ruining everything.
Yeah, but I definitely enjoyed it, you know. And when I was watching it, I was like, man, this movie is good, because I had Skyped with Brandon the night before, and he's like, I hope you like that movie. I think you'll enjoy it. And I didn't think I would at all, just because I didn't know it was this kind of movie. And I liked it a lot. So I came in at 8.5 on this one.
Oh, man, half a point from the Hall of Fame.
Dude.
No, three nines aren't 28.
What's 9 times 3? 27? I'm pretty sure
isn't
that's
it
a whole point of
27?
28.
Jesus Christ!
Man, how many times have we fucking went through this shit, man? It's 28.
That's stupid. Why can't it just be 27?
Because then the Hall of Fame would be 20,000 films bigger.
Isn't 3 nines worthy of a Hall of Fame?
No.
Fuck you.
2 9.5s and a 9 is. Or 2 10s and an 8.
Who the fuck's gonna give it 2 10s and an 8?
Or 1 10 and 9 and a 9.
I think that happened once.
No, it hasn't happened. And that was what I was worried about.
No,
problem,
no, it did. Not an 8, but like, I think you gave a film an 8.5 and it made the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it did. Yeah. But when I designed the criteria, I brought to you guys, hey, what do you think of this? And I said, I don't think a film should ever be able to get a 7.5 and make the Hall of Fame. That's why it's 28. Because there should never be a situation in which a 7.5 can get in.
Yeah, no, we debated about this, and that completely makes sense, right?
An 8 is...
You still have to have 3 relatively high ratings for it to be into the Hall of Fame, which is the best of the best, right?
Because if it was 27, a film could essentially get in with a 10, and a 7.
Yeah, that's 27.
Yeah, to 7. Yeah.
What are the chances that? What are the chances
it's low chances, but the fact is, it's possible, and I don't like it.
Well, it's possible if Derek's on the show.
Yeah, no, and it is. It is. And I know that there's other films, too, that I would give a 7 that you guys would give a 10, or at least Moodz would give a 10.
What possible film could I be giving a 10 to, you're giving a 7 to? I honestly couldn't think of one.
Demons? I don't know. What'd you give Demons?
9.5, I believe.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying. 7.5.
I think that's the film that you gave.
There's definitely
you gave 8.5. And Derek gave a 10.
It is the film. Yeah, I knew that. Jeremy said
I said that.
Oh, shit, I didn't hear it. But yeah, that's...
But there's definitely been situations where I could see somebody giving it a 10, me giving it a 7.5, and you giving it a 9.5.
True.
Because there's films where I would give a 7.5. There's films that I would give a 9.5 and you'd give a 7.5 probably.
I mean, yeah, I guess it could happen.
Yeah. And I just wanted to read that.
It's possible. All right.
So what's
Remember,
the
it's JP's show.
No, I said I brought that information to you guys, and we decided.
Okay.
All right.
You agreed. I don't know why you're acting like, oh man, we should. Like, I wish I would have been informed about this because I would have made it 27 instead.
It was my idea anyway.
It was your. Not only was it your idea, but you agreed on it.
Hall of Pain, my idea, and Fame.
Yeah.
And all those
The show
people
was your
on all
idea.
these other shows all fucking stole our ideas. Anyway.
It's not stolen.
Have you got any plans for dinner at all?
Tonight, we will be partaking of a liquid repast as we wend our way up the Golden Mile, commencing with an inaugural tankard in the first post, then onto the old familiar, the famous cock, the cross hands, the good companions, the trusty servant, the two-headed dog, the mermaid, the beehive, the king's head, and the hole in the wall for a measure of the same, all before the last bittersweet pint in that most fateful terminus, the world's end. Leave a light on, good lady, for though we may return with a twinkle in our eyes, we will in truth be blind. Drunk.
All right, so moving into the year of 2013 with the third film in the trilogy called The World's End. And we've got the same people in this one. And actually we've got some guys from Hot Fuzz actually in this one too, I believe. They're from Hot Fuzz. But so synopsis. 5 friends who reunite in an attempt to top their epic pub crawl from 20 years earlier, unwittingly become humanity's only hope for survival. Okay.
This one gets old after a while, I have to say.
So this one right here, I'd actually never seen before. This was a first time watch to me. I don't know why I'd never checked it out. I just really did not. I wouldn't say I didn't have interest. I owned it. I fucking had it.
Yeah.
But I don't know why.
It's just like the same thing over and over and over again in this one, to be completely honest.
Honestly, dude,
they fight some robots, they beat the shit out of them, they go to the next bar, fight some robots.
The problem that I had with the concept, first of all, I like the setup to this one, but the actual robots, they're weak. That's the problem. The robots are weak.
Uh-huh.
They're lame. The way their head explodes and the blue blood. It's just, they're just cartoony.
I don't understand the whole blue blood thing. It's like, how the fuck did they bleed blue blood?
Well, I mean, it is a comedy. I mean,
robots.
If it was red, I think it would just be a little bit too.
I mean,
too much. I think for people,
I wouldn't think they would bleed blood at all.
If it was red, it probably would have a better chance. Is this an R?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's
well, then it should have been. It could have been gory or something.
I don't know. I guess I can kind of see why they didn't use red paint or have the blood red in this. I mean, for the amount of carnage that happens in this, if you put that as, replace the blue with red, it would appear to be really damn gory. I don't know. Maybe it would lose its appeal to some people.
Like I said,
maybe lose the comedy effect of it.
The films are gory. Damn it.
I know.
That's not the problem I had with the film. I just think that it gets old after a while.
I actually was laughing pretty hard in this one. I like Simon Pegg's character in this film.
I'm not saying it's not funny. I'm saying
I like his character too. I think it's pretty different.
So, yeah, if you haven't seen this film, so basically, it appears that like really none of these guys 20 years later are actually like friends. I think they still know of each other. Simon Pegg's character, like, he is completely off the deep end. Like, he's kind of went off and everyone's kind of disowned him.
Yeah, but he was crazy when the beginning, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they were all crazy in the beginning.
Yeah.
He just never grew up.
Yeah, exactly. So the idea of the film is they have to hit... Their original idea was to do this insane pub crawl where they have a pint at each pub, which is... They go to 12?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's a 12 pub journey, and they have one pint at each pub, and then that's what they did. But they failed. Their first attempt, I think they got through like 10 of them or something like that, and they failed. So 20 years later, now they're grown up. Most of them are grown up, anyways. Everyone has these respectable jobs, and so what we have Simon Pegg's character. He is kind of sitting in this rehabilitation group. And he has this epiphany.
It's an AA class.
Yeah, it's an AA class. And he has this epiphany, and he's like, fuck. He hears a story from one of the other people in there, and he's like, fuck this, man. He's like, I need to finish this, what we started. So he gets the gang back together. Of course, they're all kind of not really fully on board with this. Nick Frost's character now, 20 years later, doesn't drink. Which I thought was kind of... And he's like this straight-edge business guy, doesn't drink, fucking blah, blah. Anyways, he ends up conning his friends into coming along, which I thought was so fucking funny. He owed one of the friends $600, and it comes out of...
Or $200 from each of the other ones.
Fuck, is that ever funny to me, man? But that scene right there really just showcased his character, right? He's willing to con his own friends for his own benefit, right? Because he needed to finish this. It's like a very selfish storyline in a sense, but it adds into what alcoholics really, you know. There's a lot of social comments. There's a lot of commentary,
subtext to this.
There definitely is a lot of subtext.
Fun, like you look at films like Without a Paddle or the Adam Sandler, the Friends, Grown Ups, like where these guys they were best friends as kids and they grow up and get together and stuff.
I haven't seen that movie
But we've seen these type of movies before, but this one kind of has a little darker tone to it.
It does. I like his character, Simon Pegg's character. He's just the scene where he's talking about, driving, from pub to pub and stuff, and he still has the same car that he had 20 years earlier. It's just so fucking, like the scene where they're driving in the car and everyone's just so miserable. And then they get pulled over. I just love that fucking scene. It's so funny. He's such a dirtbag.
He's like, the car's still registered to you, man.
20 years later. So I think they get about 4 or 5 pubs into this journey. And, of course, Nick Frost still hasn't drank at all. When they discover that there's something... Well, I guess they kind of discover before this that something is going on in this town. But then they fully discover after they get into a bathroom brawl with fucking robots.
Gray hooded hoblins.
Yeah, and then they realize, there's something seriously fucking going on here because everyone's acting strange and they are robots.
Yep, shortly after that's when I get out of the movie, honestly.
Honestly, it did lose a little bit of steam for myself too, but I was curious on where the hell they were going to take this because like I said, I hadn't seen this movie before.
Take it where? They go to the next bar, they find some robots, they become idiots, they go to the next bar.
Well, no, I wanted to see how it was going to resolve itself, right?
It doesn't have much substance after that.
It really doesn't. But I mean, the fun in the film is Simon Pegg, and no matter what is in front of him, nothing is stopping him from drinking that pint at the next place. And I actually had a couple laughs where becomes points in the film where the commentary again, we're alcoholics and they'll fight off their friends, for that next drink type of thing. And he literally is doing that. He's like fighting off his friends so he can just have that drink and shit. Honestly, it was kind of funny to me. This is something I could easily do. I mean, really, a pint at each pub and they couldn't finish? Like, fuck off. It's so easy.
I think that originally, like the concept is by the third one you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna have more, and you eventually get too drunk to continue.
I mean, if you were realistically,
I think they smoke weed too.
If you're realistically just doing 1 pint at each plate, it's 12. Give me a fucking break. Come on. I know Jeremy. I mean, 12 bottle caps maybe, but
I'll be done after the first one.
But it's still a funny premise to me. I've never really seen this done before. It's fun. It's fun. It definitely loses a little bit of steam where they eventually have to kind of like save the fucking world, kind of thing. I don't know, man. It definitely takes a detour for me. I wasn't expecting this film to go where it did with the robots and shit because, like I said, I'd never seen it before. I didn't really heard anyone ever talk about this movie. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. So that was kind of refreshing. It was very, very new to me. So, but I had laughs. I had laughs in it.
Yeah, I honestly thought this one was a little boring. It was better at the beginning. Once the robots get introduced and stuff, it just seemed like it was just like, let's just beat up all these robots forever, and I kind of was bored with it.
Yeah, I was never bored. I actually enjoyed the film for what it was. I mean, it's very similar in pace. Like, it's very fast paced, even throughout the film. But I mean, I guess if the robots are going to lose you, you're probably going to lose flavor in the overall product here. But
where was the cornetta? What is it? Cornetto?
I think it's a scene in the end where it's like post-apocalyptic kind of thing.
Oh,
and then there's
didn't have a good ending.
There's a rapper.
Yeah, the ending was cool.
A rapper actually flies onto the fence.
The hood of the car. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's.
I was about to say because I know that they're referenced a couple times in Hot Fuzz, and then the Shaun of the Dead one.
Yeah.
At least once, but I couldn't remember where it was in this one.
Mm-hmm. I will say though, man, out of the 3 films, this one definitely had the best soundtrack. It had the best music, which you guys probably, what the fuck was the music, man? But no, it definitely had the most exciting soundtrack to it, which kind of made sense that you're going to have, a decent soundtrack considering you're going from pub to pub. And shit, got to make that exciting. So, I mean, that kind of helped out the film. Shit that's relatable to me, man.
I thought this one started off the strongest of the 3. I was like, oh, this is going to be fun and funny because it's like all these guys together. I just was like, what kind of hijinks are they going to get into? And then it was like, oh, they're fighting robots.
I will say I was really disappointed when Nick Frost's character wasn't going to be drinking until he kind of decides he needs to.
Broke his rule.
Yeah. But it's kind of too bad. I would have liked to seen him shit-faced through the whole film.
All right, favorite gag.
Mine's the car gag when they get pulled over.
Yep, me too.
Which honestly isn't that great, which kind of hurts the movie overall.
That one and when they go and they're like, oh, they franchised all these pubs and all the pubs. The first two
that was
pubs
pretty
the
funny.
Same. Yeah.
The franchise and the pub,
Yeah, the first 2 pubs.
Sorry, like fucking deja vu, man. What the fuck? Honestly, the thing that made me laugh the hardest in the film is when they reveal that he had borrowed $200 from each other friend to pay back the one.
That was a good one too. Yeah.
Shit made me laugh so hard. I'm like, what a dirtbag. But that's really funny. Great con, man. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about The World's End, man, without just revealing everything. I mean,
what is good?
It did have a good ending, though. I like the ending of the film.
I thought the ending. I gave it a half point for the ending. What is your rating?
7.
Moodz' turn.
Honestly, man, I really enjoyed this film. I understand, for you guys losing a little bit of steam and shit, but I was laughing through the whole thing. I think it's because of Simon Pegg's character and just how big of a dirtbag he was and just how dedicated and motivated he was to finish all 12 of those pints. It was kind of making me laugh. I guess I can kind of relate to it because I like to drink. I like to drink beers. Oddly enough, I'm not drinking right now, but I guess because it's Sunday. I guess that's never really stopped me before, has it? But I don't know where I'm going with this. But anyways, I don't know. I just had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was an interesting premise. It went to a place where I wasn't expecting it with robots and saving the fucking world and shit. I got a little bit, I will say, with the whole battle with the girl between friends and shit, things like that, man, they get thrown into the mix sometimes. They're so overplayed and just so run of the mill. It just felt like it was run of the mill to me and shit. And I was like, it was love interest subplots and shit. I could do without. But I had a lot of fun with this one, man. I'm coming in at 8. I thought it was a blast.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad movie. Just didn't. I liked the other 2 better. I came in at 7 out of 10 on this one.
Yeah. I kind of figured that both of you guys would come in lower on this one than me.
Yeah.
It's probably not surprising. It's probably not that surprising to you that I came in higher. I don't know. This one,
I actually expected all 3 of us to come in the lowest on this one, but guess not.
7, 8, 9.
It was a pretty cool trilogy. I like these characters together. I like the concept of these movies. I think that they could make more of them, honestly.
I don't think The World's End did that well, so
yeah, that's probably why it's not a quadrilogy.
Yeah, we need less of quadrilogies anyways, man. Whatever happened to good old-fashioned trilogy?
Back to the Future.
There's not too many left. Yeah, I know. Back to the Future is one of them.
Especially in horror. There's not too many left.
Yeah, there's a part 4 to
Devil's
everything,
Rejects. Gonna be the new one.
Yeah, and I'd always said that should have been a damn trilogy, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Anyway, that's it.
That's it. That is it for episode 134, Blood and Ice Cream Trilogy. I actually kind of like that title, gotta say. sounds refreshing and gross at the same time. I don't mind it. Anyways, man, hope you guys enjoyed the show. Make sure to drop us some emails or give us a phone call. Drop us a voicemail. We haven't really done those in a while. I know for the longest time.
Because it never works.
I know for the longest time that we weren't replying to it. But, it's back up on the air. It's live. It's live, so drop us a line. Give us a call. Drop us an email. However you want to get in contact with us. I kind of miss doing the questions. So, if you guys have any questions, drop us a line. Jeremy, take us out of here.
Except for not next week or the week after.
Well, we'll eventually get to them. Maybe we'll let them build up.
Yeah.
And then shoot all over your face. All right, thank you everybody for listening to episode 134 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. As always, if you want to follow the full-time Blue Jays fan Moodz, you could do so at youtube.com/Moodz.
That's right.
616. And if you want to follow JP, you could do so at youtube.com/DoubleShotJ. If you want to follow this part-time Cubs fan, you could do so at youtube.com/NESRoller22. And that isn't true. And as always, if you have any questions, you can leave us a voicemail at 724-426-6665. And you can leave us a question at our email at the 22 shots of Moodz and Horror at gmail.com. It's 22 shots of Moodz A&D Horror at gmail.com. Join us on the Facebook page, facebook.com. Search bar 22 Shots Podcast, and make sure you don't have a funny name or I will block you. And as always, please follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/22 Shots Podcast. And please help support the show and get the sand sucked out of my vagina. But remember, we will not be doing any requests. Patreon.com/22 Shots Podcast. That should do it, everybody, for episode 134 of the 22 Shots of Moodz and Horror podcast. We'll be back next week with a review of what seems to be the breakout horror film of this year, A Quiet Place. So stay tuned for that, folks, and that shall do it. Should talk to you guys next week. See you guys.
Deuces.